Hey, we're going. Kyle's making us go live.
Give away secrets. Yeah.
Don't want the
we're behind the curtain.
All the secrets could be revealed.
I can't like the Deadpool podcast.
Whoa.
You did what with a clicker?
Hello, stream. How is everybody doing? Hi. Are we actually live this time, or is everybody just getting hyped at the perfect timing?
No,
like last time?
no.
Okay,
it's live.
It's called the callback, Kyle.
I have so many fail safes.
Yeah, thanks, Jesse. Yeah, this is Jesse.
It was a callback.
How many anime shows is featured at this start of the MSQ? Clearly based
Probably
on
more
Gundam
than
Heroes.
Yeah.
I don't watch any anime about king babies, so I can't.
Yo, wasn't there an anime about a king baby?
I'm sure there is.
100% there is.
There was like a little tiny baby boy, and he was a king, and he had to go around fighting dudes. That's the thing.
Reborn as a baby king.
Are you thinking of Legend of Zelda?
No, he was like a little tiny baby boy. He was a little baby boy, and he had a crown. And he'd go around and he'd fight guys that were big, strong dudes, but then they'd be like, you're just a little baby boy. And he's like, yeah, but I'm super strong. That was the thing.
Is that Dragon Ball?
Boss Baby.
Dragon Ball.
Great.
No, not Boss Baby, although same vibe. Same vibe.
Boss Baby. Yeah,
Chat will know.
His favorite anime, Boss Baby.
It happens from time to time.
It sounds like a South Park game.
Ranking of Kings. Thank you. That's why I have an office. Ranking of Kings is what it's called. Google it, and you'll be like, oh, yeah, no, that is exactly this.
But you've also hired some big anime fans, Jesse. Your thoughts? Regret? Sadness?
Regret.
I didn't know that at the time, and I do regret it. Yes.
Yeah, they slip under the radar.
My bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then it all comes out later. You find the Discord channel's like a made picture, and you're like, what the fuck is happening here?
Oh, I see.
Busted.
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
That's where you draw the line is made pictures. That's
No, I draw the line when like people on the team are like, you know what you should get, Mike? Comes merch. I'm like, what? They're like body pillows. I'm like, fucking what is happening here?
body pillows. That's ridiculous.
I didn't know what
they were
pillow was until I
Who would
started playing
have such a
14.
thing? Yeah, that'd be
within reach
outrageous.
at all times. That would
Absolutely
be absurd.
outrageous.
Yeah, who would have such a
Unheard of.
Yeah.
Oh, where did you get that from so I can avoid it at all costs?
Showed up at my doorstep with no warning.
I will yet again note that Garrett always shows the messy side and not the cool side of the pillow.
I didn't know that there were such things as sides. Kyle's the one that knows about
Well,
such
that's about
things.
to. No, and it's just simply like you
I'm
flip it
just
over.
grabbing the
It
side
is
that
so
is less...
pretty.
It's got two sides
What
on
those
it.
sides are? Don't you mean
Yeah.
there's another? Don't you mean turn it around? What are you talking
It's
about?
less spoilerific than this side. You know?
Oh,
Okay?
but look at that. Look, he's so
I'm just-
pouty.
I'm
yeah.
just thinking about the audience.
I'm swooning.
Yeah.
I can't
see?
play Goku game now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yes, Das, who was the one that sent this to my home, which meant I had to explain this to my wife, is in chat right now. So thank you, Das. This didn't require any explaining at all. Yeah.
You kept it like next to your lap.
Yeah,
well,
it's true. It is.
It's easy, you know, on days when I'm having an even harder time being funny than usual, you know, it's good for a laugh. You know?
It's junk adjacent. Just saying. It's in the realm.
All right. Okay.
Surely we can send Preach a Warhammer body pillow. They make those, right?
Have you seen my Titus? Look at that.
Oh,
that
look
is
at
a
that back
full-size
there.
Titus, baby.
Oh,
It
that's
is
handsome.
awesome.
I thought you were saying you had a Titus body pillow, and I was like, yeah. No,
That's
I
why
believe
I'm
that.
10. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not a body pillow kind of guy, you know?
Right.
You're-
Right. You're more of a.
Oh, you sound suspicious.
No. I'm with you.
Sure.
You don't do body pillows. You're more of a $12,000 full latex figure.
It was a gift. I didn't buy it. It was a gift. Someone sent it me.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Love dolls. My bad. I'm so sorry.
I would buy a huge, I almost once, I was like, I've made it. There was a 17,000 euro Big Daddy full-size statue. And I was like,
that'd be kind of cool.
it'd be badass. I wanted it in the
Yeah,
entrance
I'm
of the
not gonna hate you
studio.
for
Or like
that.
you walk upstairs, it's just a fucking full-size Big Daddy. I was like, oh, that's so good. With a big
Yes.
drill hand. Oh, man.
But anytime you're around it, you have to go, Big Daddy. And that's, yeah.
Well, I'm not dressing as a little sister or something, doing a little photo shoot.
What's the fun? What are you doing? Why spend the money?
It's a shame that in this post-daddy culture we live in, that BioShock isn't a new game.
Yeah.
Could you imagine all the daddy jokes that would have just been strewn about those legends?
I feel they would have like made it weird. Like, he's Big Daddy, but he's like kind of cute, you know?
Oh, yeah.
He's very muscular. Underneath that outfit, ripped.
A very greasy Big Daddy. He's very slippery.
Well, they didn't do Big Mommies, right? They did Big Sisters, wasn't it?
The Big Sisters. Yeah, Big Sisters.
Yeah, sisters. Yeah.
So they were before the time. They weren't ready for 2000.
Well, that's why you can make a third one and call it Big and have Big Mommies.
We call it Mommy Shock.
They're doing a Netflix show, right? That's still
You
coming.
can have a Big Mommy, yeah.
BioShock Netflix, that's happening.
Is that one of those?
Nice.
And they're correctly ignoring Infinite because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I noticed Jesse said if they did a third one, that was weird.
I like that
that's
touch.
crazy.
It was subtle and correct.
I've never played.
Honestly, I like Infinite, and I still am like, it's not really BioShock, though. We're not gonna.
I'm okay with that. Yeah. If we pretend it's just called Infinite, the FPS game.
That's called Elizabeth Baby Simulator. She's like, Booker, here, catch. Which, hilariously, playing through Indiana Jones right now, there's a character in the game that does something similar, except it's not here, catch. It's just a glass bottle hits you for some. It's hilarious. It's one of the funniest things. It's just like really fun.
Does she even say heads up or anything? Heads up.
No, like in a fight, and then she'll be throwing stuff at the bad guy, trying to get him off of you. But even after the fight over, she's still throwing stuff. I'm like, stop it. Cut it out.
Enraged.
Reminds me of dodgeball. It's just like, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Exactly. Yeah.
Poor.
Imagine not playing PoE 2 right now. What the hell?
Poor I'm an Apple guy. Just eats it in the face.
Dude, PoE, good vibes. That game is fun.
Oh, they nerfed the shit out of it, dude. They nerfed the shit out of it compared to what we played in LA.
Yes. I mean,
yeah, they nerfed the fuck out of it.
I will say The Witch is still a solid ass build. That is flat busted. If anyone's doing that, skeletons, baby.
I tried the
Monk and was like, this is not for me. I hate video games. I'm gonna go cry. Monk was not cool. I got my ass beat.
That's what everyone thinks. When they think Jesse Cox, they think I hate video games.
Yeah, I was like, this sucks. I'm gonna go like punch dudes in the face as Indiana Jones, and it was great. I loved it.
I might try it out.
We have a Patreon poll going for what we play on Wednesday, and Indiana Jones was winning, and you have all let me down. Stray is now in the lead.
Stray?
Yeah, Stray took the lead.
That's cute.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
It'll be adorable. Also, I think it's a huge branding issue if we ever play Path of Exile on this channel. It's just going to be a nightmare.
Oh, yeah, you mean grinding gears?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it would be an issue.
Yeah.
So I had never heard of the studio that makes Path of Exile when I decided to name this channel, because I've never played those games, and the people that play them are mean. So I've always kind of just ignored its existence. And yeah, people were like, you can't do that. And I'm like, well, it's just 2 words. And then I looked it up. I'm like, oh, shit. Look at that. And I was just like, I'm going to move on with my life anyway. It's like this.
Stray's a fine game.
Yeah.
I'm not upset in chat. Stray's fine.
She loved it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Listen, I actually do want to play Stray, but not as much as I currently want to play Indiana Jones.
Yo, indie slaps. It is.
Oh, does it?
I believe
it's like you're playing the movies, but it's a new story, and it feels exactly like Indiana. It's the best way I've thought of it is like Dishonored meets Uncharted. That's the gameplay style.
Okay.
I'm loving it. I'm having a blast. There's little mini mysteries. You can go like, you're like, oh, I'm in Egypt and I just discovered a tomb. Let's solve a mystery. And I'm like, yeah, what the hell's this though? And I'm reading notes and shit. And then a Nazi's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, punch. And I'm like, yeah. And I like walk away like a cool dude. It's great.
I'm gonna put it on the list. I thought it was just gonna be a cash-in sadness game.
It looked. It
great.
did not show well.
Like the RoboCop game. Did you play that? Like the trailer was so good because it was so bad. But then I was going to play it because it's like a fun bad game. But then they fixed it. Apparently, it's just quite good now. So I lost interest when it was seemingly okay.
It's is it Raiders Indy or Dial? No, it's literally takes place in 1937. So it's
a game. Why would you make it old Harrison Ford? You could do whatever you
it's
want.
great. The like all the acting's amazing. The story's really cool, but it's also not like a hardcore FPS thing. You're doing a lot of times where it's like I'm climbing the side of a building, and I'm trying to jump on this thing, and like, oh, what's that riddle over there? I guess I'll solve it.
You were my litmus test for it because I heard there's a lot of stealth in it, and you didn't like Star Wars Outlaws, so
because it's not for stealth. Star Wars Outlaws is like
I mentally put you in a bucket that said doesn't like stealth games.
For stealth, where if I get caught, it boots me and makes me restart. I hate that. Okay. If I get caught and then a gunfight breaks out, totally fine. Because I'll shoot my way out of anything. I'm all right with that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Wondrous. Sounds great. Good to know. I will.
That's why Hitman works.
Accurately bucket you now.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, Hitman's great. It's like the whole point is I'm gonna get this one kill, but I might have screwed up and I have to kill 45 people. Like it's all right. I'll do it.
I created a stack of bodies so high the doors stopped opening because I didn't realize I was stuck in an infinite spawn. So I just kept killing them and hiding them, and it just mounted up. So it looked like Game of Thrones by the end. And I was like, oh, if you go forward like 2 minutes, it all stops. I was like,
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, like what's brilliant, what I'm really enjoying about Indiana Jones is right now, if I want to sneak into like a prison camp, I can find an outfit in the world and dress up like a guard and get in. Or I could sneak in the back way, beat the crap out of everyone and be like, I'm in. Great. I like both options. I'm here for that. That's all I want in video games is like, yeah, I'll figure it out as I play. Here for it.
Nice. Okay.
Maybe next year after Monster Hunter World.
It feels like a long game. I'm gonna let you know. So, I spent I think 6.5 hours in the Vatican alone. I was like, I gotta figure out what's going on with these games.
That's longer than I spent in the actual Vatican.
That's crazy. But did you dig in the secret catacombs and discover the ancient scrolls of?
I did not. No.
Of the Book of Enoch and the Nephilim.
Yeah. Sorry, that doesn't sound like it quite lives up to Assassin's Creed, where I got to boss fight the Pope.
Wolfenstein, where you literally beat Hitler up.
Yeah,
that was a hell of a scene.
Wolfensteins. Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down?
True. It was beautiful in was it 2? I think Wolfenstein 2, New Order. Who knows?
Oh hell. Well, shall we spend 6 hours talking about
in the Vatican?
Let's spend 6 hours talking about lizard king babies, baby king lizards. But actually not as much about that, a lot more about off-screen lizard romance.
If that exists. If that exists.
Yeah.
It was so sad.
Actually, real quick, I meant to ask you all this off air. Can we try a thing?
Mm-hmm.
Can we try a thing inspired by the third comment in this stream chat today? I don't know how much everybody here watches our videos, but when we start our videos, I go, well, Kyle, and he responds, yes, Garrett. And the third comment today said, wouldn't it be funny if you did that for every single person on the show today?
Oh, that's a way to introduce them, yeah.
So I'm going to introduce you all. We're going to set it up live.
Now, are they allowed to present here, put your own spin on it? I say yes, Garrett. Sometimes there's a question. I learned a long
time ago that I cannot control anyone here, including Kyle.
Okay, good.
So however you want to take this.
Perfect.
So let's start the roundtable with, well, Kyle.
Yes, Garrett.
Well, Jesse.
Bonjour.
Well, Jordan. Well, Mike.
I can't call her. She's so high pitched it broke the microphone. It's so good.
Did activate noise removal on your
delivery. It literally shut you up.
Yeah. No, it didn't detect a human sound, and so it thought
you're all saved this once.
Yep. We are gathered here today for yet another Final Fantasy XIV roundtable. This time about patch 7.1's MSQ and maybe the raid. Has everyone here done I don't think everyone here has done the raid.
Everyone's raided, right?
Jordan literally finished the 7.1 MSQ 5 minutes before we went live on the stream, so I'm assuming you haven't done the raid.
The raid?
The Alliance raid.
Yeah, the Alliance raid.
I've done the Alliance raid, yes.
Yeah, just in advance.
Never mind then.
Yeah.
Cool. We're gonna just spoil all of 7.1 then today. Never mind.
Yeah.
We have a full open conversation.
I was about to say, I really want to talk the raid.
But it is
I made
important to note.
assumptions.
It is important to note that Okaymage did finish it 5 minutes before getting here. So a lot
She's
of us
fresh.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have this range of perspectives. It's perfect.
I studied for the test the day of.
So it's
Nice.
it's in your mind, you know?
And like my favorite teachers, I'm gonna call on you and just say, all right, you can lead today because it's the freshest in your mind. By the way, I tuned in. I was a bit of a lurker today. I tuned in right when you got to the dungeon, and I was not even the slightest bit disappointed.
Oh my gosh, that dungeon. Oh, I feel like we could talk about that forever. That's peak for me. I think one of the best dungeons. It was so immersive. It was so spooky as well, going through the abandoned research facility. And there were so many hidden kind of things as well. In one of the rooms with the kind of the beds, there was a silhouette, a shadow of a silhouette that was flashing every time the light flashed on it. It was so creepy. It's just going through that was very horrific. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then even the boss at the end was really spooky. I was kind of scared.
That final boss is still, as someone who's trying to keep up on my tomes every week, is the bane of my existence because it always kills my DPS. Every time I get it in roulette now, my DPS are just dying. They're falling down the rabbit hole. They're standing.
I jumped
in the
straight
AOEs. Well, it was your first time.
Yeah, I was like, oh, there's a hole, and I jumped straight in. Yeah. No, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I like the fact that it's very atmospheric as well, where you start in the forest. You have the kind of the lightning in the background, the skybox of the moody
fog.
forest setting. Yeah, the fog creeps in. Very tense. The tension in that dungeon was, it was great. And the bosses were actually so difficult. I love
tough.
how it's like, oh, we've had the quickest Savage tier at 9 hours. We've had the quickest Ultimate at 3 days. Oh, but the dungeons, these are going to be really hard.
I want that to be. I want them to do harder versions of dungeons, even though like they're pretty for required content. If you want to get through the MSQ, this latest one is quite tough. But I would love just murder me dead difficulty versions of all of these.
Have you done any criterions? Have you done them?
We died for 3 hours to the rat and then haven't returned.
So you have this content available to you whenever you.
And they haven't done it. That's right. They haven't done it.
No, you're misunderstanding me. I want the good dungeons that are actually like they're pretty and well designed and tell a story that you.
You didn't do the beautiful island dungeon where you go and you fight the Lalafell Queen.
No, because they put the absolute worst foot forward ever by making a brown hole dungeon that was about lore, about the most uninteresting world leader in this game. So why would I continue when they bored me to tears? I do want to fight the rat, though.
You dare talk about Nanamo in such words in front of me? The Queen of Ulda?
Well, this is the thing, Jesse.
The Sultana of my heart?
I can say whatever I want about Nanamo because she has such thick plot armor.
Please so.
And the fortitude to swallow poison and be just fine. That's why she's in charge, dude.
Exactly. I'm letting
Let's see
you
the
all
Seed
know.
Seer do that.
I'm letting you, everyone who's afraid to speak truth to Final Fantasy XIV. It's the developers have told you it's actually okay to smack talk Nanamo because her plot
What?
armor is so
Did you not cry when she let Raban go because she had risen, her character driven all the way to being a full queen? She's like, you go and do your thing because we've grown together. We love each other. Where were you, you heartless, soulless person?
cheering that the superior character was off to his own story.
Well, let's see. How did that go?
Yeah, he had it's so far great. What a great story they've written for him.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh, there's more about tourism going on than there is about that story.
Well, therein lies a lot of my Nanamo issue, is that they forget about literally every other world leader and instead just keep writing more Nanamo story.
Yes.
That would be so good. In fact, I'm worried about what she's doing right now. Like, occasionally I just go back and just check she's okay.
Everyone wants to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you swallowed any more poison recently? Are we good?
All right, don't make it out like she did it intentionally, Jordan, right? Watch your mouth. Yeah?
I love drinking sussy substances.
She was
I take
assassinated.
care of poison every day.
I have never heard that phrase in my life. I'm stealing that. I'm stealing it from now on. Whenever someone hands me a questionable adult beverage, I'm gonna be like, I'm not into
Oh,
substances.
shots? Sure.
Yeah, shot roulette, baby. Let's do it.
Oh, no.
Shot roulette is the best time. We did that, Jay.
We did. I tried to rig it as well. I said to the bartender, like, make it really disgusting. The worst thing ever. And then I went to Mike and was like, I wanted to buy you guys shot roulette. Okay, buy it. And he was like, oh, nope. Dragged me right back. Was like, oh, no.
I'm not falling for that.
I thought I was so clever as well. Like, here you go.
Well, it's easy because you don't have a kind-natured bone in your body. So if you're offering free drinks, I know there's something wrong. Right? If the devil's offering you a contract, you know there's something up.
Interesting.
It's a note to self.
Yeah.
If you ever go to
Nanamo teachings.
Background lore.
Yeah, you gotta get your Nanamo teachings. See, this is more things Nanamo's done for you. What the hell is wrong with you?
I knew I had to come in fiery because if there's one thing I know about inviting Mike in the program, it's that he's going to spend at least 50% of his time just gushing about Nanamo. So, you gotta outweigh it.
Very important.
Praise be. Yeah. She's worth every penny.
I'm assuming it's what you're going to spend most of your time talking about is.
I've got a little Nanamo. I haven't got anything. I totally found out. I was going to say a little dangly Nanamo, like like the dice.
Perfect.
In the truck. Yeah. A little dangly Nanamo.
Like the plush keychain. You need one.
That's
of those.
right.
You hang it from the rear view mirror.
That's going to be the best.
A truck wouldn't show you anything. It would just be a trailer behind you.
Why? What is you're just ruining everything today? Like you've got a real attitude. It's like, let's bring up hater. Crap. Oh yeah, you want some dangly dice? Well, you won't see them. So what's the point?
Well, let's unruin it then, maybe. And let's start with general opinion. Did you enjoy or not enjoy 7.1? Fresh off of it being Jordan, so let's ask you first. How did you enjoy 7.1 overall? Overall thoughts.
I did. I really enjoyed it. I felt like I really enjoyed 7.0 as well. I felt like it was more of what I enjoyed in 7.0, which was a lot of fun. I enjoyed going through. And then it had very dark underlying themes. I liked the way that it's touching on found family, problematic mother as well as a parental figure with Kofiwa. And what was the Gulool Ja's mother's name? Gulool Ja? Was that her name? Yeah, just like
Bakul Jajas.
The names are all
Stalker, hashtag nice girl.
Baby
like
King's mother.
Baby King's mother. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there are a lot of undertones in Dawn Trail that are very real themes that it touches on. So I really enjoyed 7.1. I did have a moment where I was like, the Koana moment. I was a bit like, ooh. So usually I love all that kind of cheesy stuff where you have the big dinosaur come in and he's like, no, I will stop you. And I thought, But then he got his really cool gun and sniped him and I was like, okay, that's cool. We made up for it. So I'm easily pleased apparently. But no, I did really enjoy it. I thought the dungeon was fantastic as well. And the cliffhanger at the end. Hold on a minute.
Oh yeah. Don't downplay your positivity. It doesn't mean you're easy to please. You don't have to come down to the haters level. It's fine. You own the fact that you like 7.0. Don't let Ramatad on our last roundtable detract from your enjoyment.
I could see the rage in his face.
And I think it was Smile specifically when that came up. But yeah, it's okay. It's all right.
I was waiting for Smile to come back. We built train. I was ready. I was like, this is the moment. This is the happy train building scene.
Yeah, they could have.
I apparently was totally wrong.
Round 2, let's go.
At the end of one of our MSQ videos, I don't remember which one it was. Maybe you can remind me, Kyle, but I like the actual end of the video is me going, oh, they're going to put Wook Lamont in lease jail. We're never going to see this character again. And I was totally wrong. Wook Lamont was all over 7.1. They, in fact, just put Smile in lease jail. Didn't hear that song even once.
Maybe. But I think that this was too soon for any sort of audience feedback to have any sort of influence.
Mm-hmm. How long is Lise a part of post 3.0 content?
Like 2 patches in, right? She comes back.
3.0? That would be Heavensward?
Oh, 4.0. My bad.
Actually, Jesse, I think you'll find.
I'm not trying to.
I was saying third expansion, but you're right. It's 4.0. You're right. But I feel like Lise was in a lot of it. I seem to recall, but maybe I'm wrong.
She came back like rewritten. They like completely changed the character and brought her back with $4 to get her sorted. But it was well worth it because she came back like, oh, let's forget what happened back then. Let's do real Lise now. Yeah. So yeah, probably. Well, Wickleback was great in this. I thought she was absolutely great in 7.1.
Yeah. If anything, I think I'm with Jordan. I think Cat Brother. Why can't I think of his name? Antonio Banderas, son of voice. Who's Wicklemont's leader brother?
Kona.
Kona.
If anything, I think Kona was a little too on the nose, like ham-fisted, a little too saccharine for me to enjoy this time. I really liked Wicklemont in 7.1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Overall thoughts, Jesse.
Oh, I have a thought.
Oh,
here comes the boy. Hello, boy. I love him. He's back. My boy has returned. You can't keep him down. He has risen. He has risen and returned. I'm so happy. So happy. Jafar is back. This is amazing. This is the best writing in the history of writing. This is better than Lord of the Rings. This is one of the greatest stories ever told. I'm so happy he's back.
For the audio audience, Jesse has put up a photo of Surreal Ja and has just gone straight to the raid conversation. Apparently,
sorry, you wanted to know what I thought. That's all I'm thinking about. I'm just so happy he's back.
Oh yeah, he was in the raid. I was sitting here going, I don't remember seeing him in the MSQ.
I too was overjoyed, Jesse, and made this image to celebrate.
Yeah. Let's just all celebrate. Mine has hearts in the background. We'll just talk about our guy that we love. I'm so happy he's back. I was thoroughly disappointed when they killed him off in 7.0, and I was like, "There's no way that guy was so clearly a villain." And they like, I don't like that. Don't do that to me. And they were like, "We didn't." And I'm like, "Oh!" So that's really. Besides that, I love that we got a Resident Evil dungeon, and I had fun killing a weird dinosaur thing that attacks people in Texas, I guess. And yeah, it was a fine expanded little bit there, and we got I guess what the plot's going to be for the next, I don't know, however long. And so that's kind of interesting. I have no idea what's going to happen there.
At least 2 more patches.
Yeah, at least 2 more patches of like smiling at the camera and real close-up shots of a smile. And then like, ooh, am I evil? A lot of that's going to be happening. Can't wait.
Mike, what did you think of 7.1? Like it? Dislike it?
Was happy. Sad. Very happy again. Yeah. Everything at the end made me forget about the things that made me sad. And that made it overall a thumbs up. Because by the time I got to the end, I'd forgotten all about the fact that Koana fell in love with cows. In a weird way. In a way that is not okay, honestly. But I'm going to upset Jesse. I hated the raid story.
Oh, really?
I don't think that raid could have made me less interested in FF11 than it did already. Like my current interest, I was not into it whatsoever.
Admittedly, it is so extremely not Final Fantasy 11. It's weird because the raid is, hey, you played it, right? Here's a bunch of really cool things. And honestly, if you haven't played it, I have no idea what you would get out of it. And so hearing you say that makes perfect sense to me, because most of the Final Fantasy 11 stuff is like, you know, like when you're in the raid, there'll be characters in the background having a conversation, and you'll be like, oh, I get that. That's a thing that we used to do. But if you weren't there, then none of that tracks. So,
but I got some of it from like the NPC conversation. I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. I can figure out what they're talking about when you stood next to them. But other than that, it was totally lost on me. And I was like,
but you didn't like the boss fights?
Yeah, I mean, the boss fights FF14 are always really good. That's like a given, you know. Like, but I want the story around it to be like, ooh, like when I'm comparing it to like the gods and Graha and all the shit that was going on there.
Admittedly, the story hasn't really started yet. We just got the beginning of it.
I was so far. Wait for it.
You need to play 60 hours before it gets good. So just wait. Hold.
Just wait for it.
You already did though, so you can wait longer.
Yeah, a lot more than that.
You'll be fine.
I'm gonna play it. I know I am. There's no escape now.
Though. I thought the raid series, especially like the home hub, and you had all the NPCs around that all kind of made these references, and I hadn't played 11, so I could appreciate the dialogue. I was like, oh, that must have meant something really special. Or there was an NPC by a fountain that said you need money to teleport or something.
Yeah,
and it's like, even though I didn't fully understand the reference, I could still appreciate it a little bit. I thought it was stunning though.
They did the most obnoxious 2004 quest design. It was like, hey, we need to go to Taral and check something out. So you're like, okay, you teleport there. It's like, what are we going to do here? We're going to eat tacos. Then we're going to go back because we really need to guard the hub. And you're like, okay. So you teleport back again and they go, oh my God, we need to go back to Taral again. And I was like, what is happening here? The first like 30 minutes of the quest are just teleporting backwards and forwards. It was like, pray return to Taral. We got you. And I was like, this is just so irritating.
None of that would have been an issue.
Go back.
Had they not put the damn portal in the ass crack of a zone where that drives me crazy. Flying out there can kiss my whole butt. I do not like that at all.
Everything felt like an emergency and we did nothing. And then at the end, they're like, we're going to go for a tour now. I was like, wait, didn't you just say this is like really important that we take care of this?
Yeah, but then how else would you meet the true villain of Final Fantasy XIV if you didn't go back there and have him show up and be like, yeah. And then that dude straight up was like, the only thing to do now is make more Final Fantasy XI bosses reappear. And I was like, yeah.
I did like him. Great. I'm not going to deny. Like he's
adorable.
He's great.
It reminds me of DMing in 2004 when your friends didn't play video games, so you're just gonna full sail steal World of Warcraft and play it in front of them. Like he found a dimension, and he's just gonna mine it for sweet content.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like creativity. No, it's just because he looks so goofy. Like he's such a
he's got those eyes. Oh, yeah. Perfect.
He looks like a real George Lucas plushie. Is what he looks like. It's
that smile.
So
it's so beautiful. What a beautiful smile.
That is the face of pure evil, and I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I was glad to see him back.
I assume it was very good if you're an FF11 fan. But I was hoping for more Nier stuff, like the Nier raid. Is if you hadn't played Nier, it was like, oh, this is kind of a cool world where I kind of maybe want to go and investigate and do things. But this was more like,
So like you didn't feel seduced towards Final Fantasy 11 then, and that was kind of
no. I actually came in maybe with the wrong mentality, which is like, I'm not going to play 11 because we know why. So this is going to be a nice 14 version of things where I can maybe get up with the story like we did with Fran and things like that in the past. I was like, oh, that was kind of cool. There's like some cool world building. We've got some really cool, strong characters from 11. And that started off even in patch 1 as being really cool. This did not for me. And I was like, everything about this is annoying me.
Okay, so there was no Nanamo, so Mike hated it.
Right.
Oh, that also counts. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, it was missing Nanamo too, which is just the worst. Yeah.
Admittedly, as someone who's played Final Fantasy XI and loved that game until WoW came along and WoW was better, the thing about Final Fantasy XI is that what we got, you're right in that it is not a story. None of what we got is related to Final Fantasy XI except for the bosses that we fought were in Final Fantasy XI, and there are a bunch of characters who will tell you what happened with those bosses. But what we're doing is we're fighting bosses out of order in random zones, and it's kind of like, here's a tour of what Final Fantasy XI was. But it gives you no indication of what the story was, unless you read the text. The one guy's like, here's what the plot was of Final Fantasy 11. Other than that, the raid itself is not an indicator of what the game is. It's straight up just, we're going to go on a quick tour, set up some stuff that the Final Fantasy 11 exists, and then here's Prish. And I think that's, I don't know, I can understand why you would be like, I did not realize that at all.
If I look at like Omega, which was like, hey, here's all this FF6 stuff, like Kefka's in there, the training's in there, and all that kind of stuff. But it's all wrapped in a really cool envelope as well of what's going on with Omega. I'm missing that envelope. Like, I could take it as like, hey, here's all these cool bosses from past FF games. Really cool. Let's relive that. But the package so far, I mean, it could say, we said this about Arcadian as well. Like the initial story of Arcadian is like, I really hope there's a really cool Lala who's like Vince McMahon at the back of this, who's like just a complete maniac. That might be interesting. But right now, the sisters and things, I'm like, okay.
It's gonna be the
Yeah, give it a bit of a breather. Give it a bit of a breather and see what goes on. But I was hoping for a bit of a better package to engross me in and not just porting around and being like, okay, well, I guess we'll just go on a tour of Terral now. It's like they did the Alpha and Omega already in like stage 1. Like I assume we might bump into them somewhere or something.
Sure.
I
I mean, they also did stuff out of order a little bit too. Like boss fight 3 and 4 are not, as far as I remember, in the order they are. Like that kind of thing where they were just like, yeah, throw cool stuff at them, but like story wise or why things connect, it's not really the same.
Well, that taco was vile. It had little triangles in it. It was just
the close-up of the taco
absolutely
meat.
disgusting.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, Kyle, pull you into this and also speak for you. Feel free to get in here. But I mean, you and I didn't play 11, and I feel like we both had a pretty damn good time.
Oh yeah, Shadow Lord was monologuing. I thought it was cute. I thought it was just a bunch of MMO bullshit, and that made it a fun package to explore.
Yeah, to me, it felt like it was like so clearly a celebration of what 11 was. And so I had a good time with it, even though I didn't understand the reference. It was like overly specific analogy. I saw the movie Serenity before I ever watched Firefly.
Same. Never seen Firefly.
Okay. In the very beginning of that movie, there's this loving, borderline masturbatory shot of the main ship, and then you zoom in a oneer like through the glass, and the camera just lovingly caresses every single crew member. And as someone who hadn't seen Firefly, I'm just like, oh, these must be important to a lot of people. You know, I still got the feeling, even though I hadn't had the previous experience. And I don't know, that kind of experience happens pretty seldomly. I had a similar experience before I went back and watched like modern Doctor Who, where I saw a couple things out of context, and I'm like, oh, I bet people that this means something to are like swooning right now. And I think it's fun. And I also,
it's fun for them.
Well, it was fun for me. I thought it was fun.
That's very empathetic of you. I like
I like MMOs. I just kind of like MMOs in general. And as I get older, you know, I enjoy thinking about how simple they used to be. And
I know you're gonna play WoW Classic for the 3rd time this release.
maybe I will, because I do.
I mean, you should, because apparently everybody is like, they could just keep re-releasing that shit over and over again. Apparently, it doesn't matter. Everyone's gonna be like, let's go again, dude.
I'm surprised they don't do seasons with that, because isn't that like PoE or Diablo? You have the seasons where you kind of start again. Some things are different, but you go through and level your character again. I'm surprised they don't
changes.
Treat
Well, if it's like
WoW Classic like that.
Yeah, they don't.
I guess that's what Season of Discovery was supposed to be, but
they don't add like modifiers to like company softball leagues, so it's just a call to action, you know? People get stoked. Oh, hey, you playing? Yeah, I think I'll play this time. They're not going to play this time, but you know, it's all fun to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, theme parks rarely change, and people go to them over and over again. Like sometimes all you need is limited hours at 7 o'clock and a shorter queue time. Like for the case of WoW, it's just like, well, it's a fresh server. Everyone gets a clean start. That is enough of a draw for some people. Oh. But we're not
good for them. Like I said, good for them.
I got level 6 on Classic, and that was enough for me.
I want to see you play PoE. John,
oh yeah, I've never played any like PoE-esque games. I'd be going in totally blind.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. Like, how hard can it be? It's just. Like, just kill stuff, get your character. Yeah. Like, yeah, that looks good. I played an MMO. Like, yeah. I don't think it's difficult.
Fine.
How hard can it be? Kids play this game.
I don't know.
You played League, same thing. So top down, kill things. It's all good.
Yeah.
Easy mode. Garrett, would you like me to prompt you for your overall thoughts?
The MSQ portion of 7.1 was what I feared it would be, which was just a bunch of backstory on Jafar Ja, which I didn't want because he's dead and I don't care anymore. And I really like the ending. Everything else so far has been phenomenal. I really enjoyed the Alliance raid. The Extreme for Sphene took 3 days of my life away from me. Yeah, it's.
Did you get your mount?
No, but you know who got the mount. You question leading bastard.
Did you get the mount? Did you roll?
Kyle got the mount.
Yeah.
Kyle, yeah, but those wings are shitty. You need the EX2 wings. They're the best ones.
The X2. Oh,
yeah.
I like green.
I farmed the crap out of those.
I like green, so I want the Sphene wings because they're green.
Did you figure out the Frost Bridge? Are you set bridge? Or are you adaptive bridge?
We did set bridge, and then some of our party, we figured it out. I'll just answer, we figured it out.
Look,
doesn't mean everybody.
My response as well is like, you guys do you. I know where I'm going. It's all good. Leave me alone. I was playing with an Australian on the Euro servers, and his lag was so bad that I could just go, and I know he could possibly have kept up. So I was like, I'm all good, guys. You guys figure your shit out. We're okay. We're good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I know that if I go, he can't possibly keep up. It's all good. It's fine.
God, just
you got to work with what we got. He was fine, but I knew we were going to be okay.
We call that ping-based strategy.
Ping-based strategies is the exact way it needs to be done. Great fight though. EX3 is one of my favorites. Like super fun, super fun fight.
It's phenomenal. We haven't done EX1 or EX2 because
what?
I haven't either.
Our first. Have you done EX3, Jordan?
I have, yeah.
Okay,
I haven't killed it yet, but
okay, I'm assuming you were in a similar boat to us. Like this is the most current we've ever been. Like 7.1 dropped, and it was the first time we could ever hit something on day one. And I really just wanted to have that experience. So we were just like, screw it. We're not even eye level 720 yet, but let's just rip this because, we want to see it on day one. And
yeah, blind rating is the best. You did UCOP though, Jordan.
I did. This is my first ultimate. Yeah, I was doing it blind at the event. It was so cool. I struggled with twisters. I felt like that was the one word that everyone was saying, ooh, twisters. And I was like, okay, twisters. And then I was like, oh, twisters. I hate them.
Yeah.
That was really fun though, yeah, because I've never really done blind content. So playing through Sphene's Trial blind and then UCOB blind. And I've been doing Arcadian as well blind. Has been really fun. After being a sweaty, try hard, wow, know everything before you go in. Kind of thing.
It's a good time. We're big fans of doing stuff blind, and so is, I guess, our audience that likes watching us die horribly.
It's way more fun because you got that satisfaction of figuring stuff out in FF14 is so nice when it's like, oh, this totally works. All right, and now we can move on to the next thing and get it solved. It's really fun.
It feels like it's built that way too, as someone who raided for years in World of Warcraft, like the fact that I spawn in and I'm just staring at the boss. Like it's just me and the boss, and the job before me is to figure out this one boss. I don't need to worry about respawn timers, burning through 3 bosses before I get to the boss that we're actually progging, any of that kind of stuff. There's all of the fat is trimmed away, and it's just your group and a challenge before you. And so I think also in that way, it's just you have the time. Like Kyle, you joke all the time that folks that complain that there's not enough content in insert game here are folks that just look up the answers, burn through it without any hardship, and get through it too quick. And I kind of feel that way a little bit with some of the harder battle content in 14.
I agree with my previous statement.
I concur.
Excellently said, Kyle.
So getting back to 7.1 MSQ specifically, like what parts do we all want to talk about? It seems like to does anyone want to go to bat for like Koana fighting a dinosaur? Was anyone really passionate about that?
I thought it was yet
feel...
another excellent example of the battle team making some cool stuff and the story team not really cooking with it, because it's a fun idea. It's a fun T-Rex, and they even did like atmospheric perspective on the T-Rex at distance, and there was a brief moment where it was like, oh my god, he's huge, and like the graphics really kind of like shined on that shiny beast, but the trappings of the buffalo business was much to be desired.
It was good to have the combat content as well, because I think a lot of people felt like, oh, we want to incorporate some combat into the questing and the MSQ in general. So it's nice that they kind of put something in there. But yeah, I think Koana's cheesy moment when he threw himself in front of the cow was, usually I kind of like that stuff, but even I was a bit like,
It's a weird story beat. I guess it makes sense they had to do it because we destroyed the train and we're wrapping up the story of this part of the game. But it's also weird to just be like, okay, so there's trouble with the train and it's these damn buffalo. Now, what's the deal with that? Let's go walk around and learn how buffalo work. Okay. And then we walk around and we do the whole thing. I learned that it's not pronounced the way I thought it was through the entire 7.0 story.
That's a retcon. They straight up changed the goddamn pronunciation.
I'm with you on this. They definitely retconned the pronunciation.
No one else said it, but Aaronville said the other way. And
yes.
Then when he finally says in the last like 3 minutes of that patch,
and it's different,
yes,
it messed me up too.
Crazy.
I was like, what is there's a lot. It's like hearing instead of Rogadin, them pronouncing it in this expansion Rugadin. I was like, what is happening? I can't handle it. But what I will say is while I enjoyed the fight, the whole package of go around, learn about Ronik instead of Ronik, get out of here, and go around and do that stuff. I was like, all right, it seems like busy work though. Like we're in between when something important's gonna happen, so we're just kind of doing stuff. I don't know. It didn't really land at all with me, but I was like, all right, yeah, I'll do this because I know it's gonna lead somewhere. But like that part wasn't the best.
It's important to know they make soap out of poo, which is a great revelation.
Yeah, I should.
It was. Yeah.
Which, by the way, what?
It enriched my experience. I felt like I could smell them then. Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm immersed now because they smell like shit. That's what's happening.
Have you ever been around cattle? I mean, there is just a permeated odor.
Oh, yeah.
That
all right, Florida.
Really goes away. Yeah.
That's a Florida smell. That's not cattle.
Yes, it is. It's becoming less so as they put up more and more condos. But yeah, growing up, it was just cow poo. As far as the nose could smell.
There's also a nice paper factory near Tallahassee.
Oh. I'm right down the street from Tropicana, so I just get like the smell of oranges every once in a while. That's really pleasant, actually.
Nice. That's nice.
Yeah,
but a little nectar for you.
I called it to your point, Jesse. I ended the stream like I was like, it was just like Dawn Trail again, but shorter. It was like learn about a culture, help them with their problem. Dawn servant, instead of becoming a Dawn servant, we just have one of the Dawn servants have a revelation, and then we end in Solution 9. I guess we start in Solution 9 as well. So Solution 9 is kind of like the bread of the sandwich that is 7.1. You kind of start in Solution 9, which I really like the beginning. The whole funeral for Sphene thing and meeting.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they didn't know how to do a funeral was so cute. And they're like, in this funeral, and we're like, okay. It was cute because the guy's like, I don't know what we're supposed to be doing. He tries to wing it, and the people are all stood in lines. So I was like, that's really weird. It's like, yeah, because they don't know what the fuck is going on. They're all like, do we stand like troops? And they're like, I don't know. and they're like, they're putting flowers on, and some kid just walks up like ahead of everybody who's like, important or whatever. He's like, yes. It's like they just like heard one of those 1950s like dodgeball videos. Remember dodgeball where they were like, chap, for a funeral, you need to have a ceremony. Like they just read about it somewhere. It was just so goofy. I loved that. And there's people who couldn't see. Did you see when they did the wide shot? There were like hundreds of people behind a wall that couldn't see
They don't know
anything that's
any
happening in the
better.
funeral.
Yeah,
hall.
it
Yeah, they didn't know. They're all like stood in these uniform lines. Like, what is happening? I don't know.
The right word for it is cute. I
It's an
agree.
Yeah, it was cute.
It's an entire
Yeah.
megalopolis having to attend a funeral for their leader. So it would be, why wouldn't you have people that can't see? It's a real
Because they have
festival-going
screens
experience.
everywhere. There's more screens than a TV shop. Right? It's like if you go to BlizzCon, you're not all in the main stage. They have fucking stages
The
and shit
worst con
everywhere.
ever.
Well,
Yeah,
With that,
they-
hold on now. Hold
they
on
forgot
though.
that for the last
Hold on
BlizzCon.
though. Hold on though. I'm gonna deep lore this and just
Keep
say
more.
this is their very first funeral. They don't know what they're doing. And much like those early BlizzCons, where some of the screens were not what was happening on stage, but random logos of stuff until people complained, and then they broadcasted the stuff everywhere. It's their first time. They had to learn.
Yep.
Just
Do you
like
think
early
people are going to go
BlizzCons.
back and say, look, if we're going to do this again, we need some TVs. We're going to need some screens.
They
Because
have to
all I saw
learn.
is a wall. I saw a wall,
Yeah,
bro.
they have to. There's going to be other funerals. This
Are we
is
not going to be killing her
you know,
again? Like,
This is a first.
she's going to
Yeah.
die again. It's coming.
2 out of 10. I'm just saying.
One of-
I'm just
one of
saying.
them-
I've been to better funerals.
The organization was poor. This is my video essay on how I couldn't even see half of it. There was no accessibility. It was dreadful.
Yeah, the atmosphere, the vibe, totally down. Real down vibe. Like, not into
Yeah,
it at all.
what a bummer.
no
Kinda
one.
Putting
sucks.
flowers down took hours.
Yeah, we should have a
Organization.
ticket system.
Absolutely
You
no one
think of
here
these
had
people
Mike.
trying to muddle through it. It was great.
No one here
There's
had
no
Mike
water.
giving a Yelp review to a funeral on their bingo card. No one.
I can rate some funerals. I've been to a few now. Just saying. There is a scale.
There is a hierarchy. Let me just tell you. Some people
Yeah.
buried so much better than other people.
It's not polite, but we're all thinking it. Like, I don't know. Gary's funeral was popping. They had lottery tickets. This one was
Not
a
even
real
an
baller.
open bar. Come on,
Ball drop.
come on,
man.
Gary.
Yeah.
So a bit of
Cheapskate
effort.
in life, cheapskate in death. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not staying at a funeral where I have to look at a wall. I'm going.
Did you mean to say open casket and you said open bar, or
Oh, I meant
Oh,
to say
both.
open bar. I meant to say open bar.
Bar in the casket. You go up.
Right.
There you
give
go.
Thanks.
On
He's got a
ice.
drink in his hand. Easy.
That's where the
Yeah.
drinks lined
Kyle?
up.
If I
Keep
go
it fresh.
before you, make this happen, please.
All right. Can do.
Oh my.
As
oh
long as I
my-
can
Write
say
this
that's
down
why
for
I
when I
love
die.
cold fusion when I pop that beer.
So I, everyone is entitled. I wouldn't just use the word cute to describe it, but I was really stoked at the beginning that the whole like they're having to come to like realization that like they have to process death for the first time in their life. There was even like some inversions where children were like, I don't get it. And the adults were handling it so much worse than the kids, which I thought was really cool. But this was something that we talked a lot about while we were doing our co-op playthrough, was like, oh, what a great sci-fi concept this is. It wouldn't be fun if they kind of pushed it further with just this complete lack of an understanding of death. And so to have 7-1 kind of open with them pulling on that thread more, I was very pleased.
Did you think it was? I thought it was a really nice touch in two ways. The funeral I liked, but the actual important things were the kid trying to look to a parent who is their god, essentially. You know, kids look at you that way as a parent, like you have all the answers, and the parent being like, I don't fucking know. And like can't work it out. But then also Wuklamat, who's like always saving the day. They very quickly were like, yeah, it just doesn't work. Because she goes to try and explain to the kid, is like, okay, you know, this is something you're gonna have to deal with, and it's horrible, but it makes you stronger. And the kid's like, fuck that. I don't like this at all. And then turns to a parent, like, what are we gonna do? And the parent's got no answers. Like all that was about 30 seconds of story, but was actually really well done. That was like, oh, this is what I want from this story. It's like there's so much going on here in these like 7 lines that are also awesome. This kid's falling apart, the parents falling apart, and Wuklamat is also falling apart because nothing's working now. The rules have gone.
It's
The
not a
boundaries have changed.
problem you can like fight your way out of, which
Mhm.
by the end of 7.0 is essentially what Wuklamat is doing. It's gone full shown and she has to fight. To 7.0's credit, there's a little bit more of her trying to mold Sphene into a better leader, and it goes awry. But it's a big fight. I like that kind of thing. It's what I want out of like Superman stories. Like just
Did you get a drug addict vibe?
no from who?
Like- Not in the way that they wanted, like, almost one more hit of memory loss because this hurts so bad. You know, like with
fair.
drug addicts with withdrawal, we're like, we should do this. I get it. You're telling us this is good, but this is too much. Just one more.
Absolutely.
I don't like this. Like, that was the feeling I got from it. It's like, these are almost like drug addicts on withdrawal because they just want that. This is overwhelming so much. That one more thing, and then they're ready. That was the kind of vibe I was getting from the populace throughout this bit.
Well, and you had a good parallel with Baby King being there, and like, I get that I'm supposed to process this, and I guess it's just okay with time. Like, he's accepting the way it's supposed to go, but just like, this is all bullshit. This is insanity.
It's the grieving process and then dealing with your grief. But then also there was a huge emphasis on how do you move forward, which I really liked as well, because I find that sometimes is the hardest part of grief is taking that step forward because you almost feel like you don't want to. You don't want to carry on as if nothing's changed. How do you move forward? And, you know, them being leaderless for the first time in what they would ever know. Like, what do we do now? Where do we go from here? That also being quite a central focus I thought was quite nice as well.
I think that's what scenes like going around and messing with Ironic are supposed to be doing, either for Woklomot or for future conversations with the Solution 9 people. And that as we, we destroyed the railroad and now we are helping it come back. We have helped the people of this one tribe and shown them a way forward. So it's either going to give Woklomot the ability to speak on moving forward and moving ahead, or it's going to give us as characters like, hey, outside these walls, stuff's actually happening and people are improving, and you guys are stuck in this like weird space where you're focusing heavily on this when really you should be focusing on all the awesome things you can do in life rather than just stressing about death, right? I think that's kind of why they're including these things, but I also could be wrong, but I feel like that's what this is.
Yeah, the Koana stuff felt like it was written a long time ago because it felt very much like a lot of the Dawn Trail set pieces. Like they followed that very specific formula, and it's like, it is too early. Like Kyle said, it's like this stuff was done months ago. Like we can't change the direction of this. Although they definitely did intervene at some point because we know they re-recorded some of Woklomot's lines, they re-recorded Y'shtola's, so I think they did do some stuff. The Koana stuff felt just so massively out of place to me. I was like, what is this stuff at the beginning, the funeral, what these people are feeling, these short scenes that are very intense, great. This stuff afterwards, better. This thing in the middle, it's like,
it's the same vibe as we're coming off defeating Emmett Selk and we're doing all this cool stuff and we're such badasses. Then it's like, go help a guy be a mayor. You're gonna do it. Have fun. And you're like, okay, sure. I mean, I like those guys, so I'll do it. But it does feel weird coming off of saving a world to be like, let's go help a guy be mayor.
Well, and they're intensely aware of time passing. It's kind of one of their strengths. It's kind of one of their weaknesses. Like we were hacking the data that Baby King had gotten out of the system, and it was going to take time. I thought we were done for good, so I was really happy when we revisited that with Shale at all in the same patch. But they've always done this thing, and I've heard from some Koana enthusiasts that there were a lot of parenting stories throughout it, and his was left kind of open. So getting all our stories cleaned up meant that wasn't such a weird spot comparatively. But you've also got the weird spot of like living memory that is this, we need to turn it off, but hey, let's make sure our friends benefit from it first. And then you've got Baby King who's like, yeah, maybe I will move on. Except I want to investigate my entire past first before we move on. So
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot that it's literally, this is me coming to terms with my parents abandoning me. Actually, they didn't, and everything's fine. I forgot that was the whole point of this.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind. Who knows? Maybe everyone's going to get a happy ending. The end. Boom.
Because both his parents decided to fight a dinosaur and abandon their baby.
Right.
As most parents with newborns do, as we know.
Sacrifice themselves for everyone.
Right.
Both of them immediately without pause. That's always how that happens. Notoriously slapdash with newborn safety.
That's because that child was raised by a community.
Uh-huh.
And That just shows the love of the parents.
Right.
Be willing to sacrifice themselves to make sure their child
For the
could
community.
survive.
Exactly.
The community would raise that child, except they left his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Except they were like,
They just ditched that kid.
Well,
they
it's-
just kicked them in front of him and just ran away from that baby.
well, and that's
he was found
he's
by
gonna-
the Palu merchant, right?
Yes,
it's
yes.
kind of
So he was
you
fully
didn't really
left.
save the baby.
That's
you didn't
fair.
really sacrifice yourself.
Ooh, rough
Yeah.
one, Jordan. Yeah, you're right. He was straight up like left in a field, not like left with somebody that they were saving.
Yeah.
That's like the more you think
They
about
didn't even
the funnier
shout
it is.
to somebody like, "Hey, we've left the baby. We'll fight the." They didn't even do that. They just ran into a dinosaur's mouth.
They like our
Point blank.
beautiful community will take care of our child. We worked together, and the community was like, "Bye," and ditched that kid.
Well, Koana was a giant fat baby. They're like, we can't carry this guy. He was a
been.
he was a huge, like, fat cat baby. That was
Could
Koana
be.
as a kid.
Just
Yeah.
a Michelin man of a child.
You
Just
gotta get away from a dinosaur. Look at the size of this kid. I'm not carrying that baby.
14
Every
pounds, 8
joint was a
ounces. He was
roll.
rocking. He was rolling.
Yeah, he
The
was out
dinosaur
of there.
came for that baby, that delicious baby. It was that baby's
tasty
fault.
baby.
But see, that's
They
where,
left him by the fire to keep warm. He smelled like a nice roast turkey.
and I think that's where you have
Trapped
some
in
of
the
this
dinosaur.
like this lack of communication that can happen perhaps between the team, because it's like, cool, we have this cool story where the parents are going to sacrifice themselves, and awesome. Okay, that sounds like a really good story beat. And then the design team with the monster comes in. They're like, that's a god. That is not just an apex predator. It has shielding that is so intense. It is completely impenetrable. Why? Why is it fair to make the Renek? I don't know what we're calling them anymore, but is it fair for us to make them poop their pants every time the train goes by? That thing is a god. Like, maybe a growl from like a mountain lion would be more civil.
It was also stealthy, which I thought was interesting because they're like, "There's nothing weird around this place." And then 2 minutes later, it's like, it's a fucking dinosaur. It's like,
Just
When it looked great, like it was beautiful.
yeah, they were like, we've
But it
checked
is
everywhere.
Dinosaur
There's
Texas.
nothing going on.
There's dinosaurs
Dinosaur
everywhere.
Texas. Yeah, yeah.
So to them, dinosaurs are like, it's just another one. Don't worry about him.
we had the pterodons in 7.0 and the poop quest.
Yeah.
and-
That's true, too, Poop
to
Quest.
a certain degree. I mean, was it an escalation? Yes. Was it a massive one? No, it's still a dinosaur. Like, why does it have shields? I don't know. It's Final Fantasy, Kyle. Things have shields sometimes. Yeah, I don't know. I hope this whole thing brings Kona and Aaronville closer together, because they're both gonna bond over their parents who thought that they were super helpful, but instead were just the tuxedo mask meme of "my job is done here," and their children looking at them going, "But you didn't do anything."
Do you think Kona's gonna get a little key ring like Aaronville's got of his like parents?
Oh.
Like,
That was okay.
oh, you got one too. That was lovely. I was like, oh,
she
that's
is
cool.
going on adventures with me. I thought that ended up being all right.
Yeah, that was a lovely little touch.
Yeah.
I like that.
This episode is sponsored by myuselessparent.com. Get a keychain of your useless parent at myuselessparent.com.
Be just like
Damn.
me. I'm not home right now. Where are my kids? I don't know. I'm sure they're fine.
Wherever they are, they have a keychain of my face, and I know that I'm with them.
I'm
I'm
providing.
Fine,
90%
dinosaur,
sure
it's
they're not
fine.
being chased by dinosaurs. They're okay.
Did your child just find out that you've been dead for what you think is a ton of time? Doesn't matter. Make it all about yourself. MyUselessParent.com.
Go to a museum. Drag your kid to a fake museum.
25% off with code dinosaur. That's code dinosaur. Right now, people. I think we should dispense with Koda because, I mean, it's just a thing.
No, and before this, like, we very quickly go from the funeral to the dungeon, and we all seem to agree that the dungeon was pretty badass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite part of the MSQ patch, like that and the juicy cooking over the cliffhanger that we'll talk about. The dungeon was amazing. I remember being really, and we were playing catch up. I remember being really impressed by 6.1 because as we went through everything on our journey through the MSQ, I kind of historically thought 0.1 patches were a snooze fest. I didn't really like 3.1, 4.1, 5.1. I wanted to burn on fire. And then 6.1 came out. I was like, oh shit, this is kind of cool. I don't know how the hell you follow up Ben Walker, but I'm digging what they're doing. And a big portion of that was the 6.1 dungeon. I thought it was just such an adventure fest of going through the swamp and then going down into the underwater temple and everything that followed there. And I feel very much the same way about this, of just, wow, they knew exactly the aesthetic they were going for, and it's pitch perfect. They nailed it. I love this dungeon.
And they were pissed.
They knew it too. They gave you that free walk around time, right? It's like, okay, there's some really cool shit in here.
Yeah,
take your time, go and explore. It's fine. It's like, don't really treat this as like it's probably highlighted the contrast between like a WoW or Guild Wars and an FF. It's like, yeah, it's a dungeon. Don't worry about finishing it. Go have a little wander around for a bit and see what you can find. There's all sorts of little things lying around, which added a lot to it.
Yeah, we liken it a lot to theme park ride design, and particularly in 14, because there's always 3 bosses and there's always trash between the 3 bosses, but all of the set dressing and the boss fight mechanics are the things that really set them apart from one another.
Man, you had hounds, like proper like zombie dudes running around there. Like it was kind of gross in there.
You went from Resident Evil to a FromSoft game, complete with hard as balls bosses that will murder you. It was great. I loved it.
Also, the story took like a very dark and weird excuse me, turn that I couldn't figure out. The mom was like, there's only one thing I want from you. And I was like, whoa,
yeah,
what is happening right now? And then the fact that the whole dungeon was about soul transference and taking animals and putting them inside, like there was some crazy stuff happening there. And again, I want to remind everyone, the reason it was all done is because this woman was like, I just want some of that dino dong. It was crazy that's what the plot was. And I was like, I'm here for this. Let's go. This is getting wild.
It was
Making a
brutal.
note. You say dino dong, not lizard D. Okay. I'm gonna
Dino dong, it's alliteration. Lizard D? No.
Man, doesn't sing quite the same way.
Yeah.
Now, the first cutscene where she's in the distance and she's side-eyeing him, I was like, oh no.
Oh yes.
We know who she is, and this is gonna get real weird real quick. And then it did.
But
it escalated real fast.
They didn't say, oh, these two got it on. And what they did say was, she has DNA and then like made a baby. And I'm like, hold up. We still don't have confirmation this ain't a clone kid. I am still on clone territory. I don't believe.
Come on.
I don't believe.
Different.
I think she made a baby. I don't think that she had a baby.
Wait.
yes.
Wait, kind of, sort of. Hang on. I'm all for exploring this because I also was massively confused. However, I do think Final Fantasy is deeply cubbied in where it explores lore. And like you can very much say like, oh, Electro, like that's now happening with Sorel Ja. Like he's going to be the Electro cube. It's not rope, it's a cube business now. And the cloning part is what we're talking about here, because the other parts are being explored in the Arcadian instead. So I think she asked for.
I think it's all connected and explaining why Sphene has somehow returned. This is all little tidbits, and we're gonna discover some wacky stuff. I'm convinced this kid. I don't know if he's a clone, but I think he's like a part of the process of what they were trying to do in that facility, and he is another version of that. I'm convinced of this.
I want him to be a clone.
Instead of them getting it on,
yes,
he filled a cup for her.
I think that whatever happened, I don't even think a cup was filled. She probably could have got like a scale from him. I don't know what the science is here.
Blood draw.
Yeah. But I think that he as a character had zero interest in getting it on with anybody. I think he's like, he's very Xenos coded, and I get off by murder. Don't think, at least from the cutscenes we.
Let's change regions.
Pretty sure she got it on.
She wanted to, I think, but I don't think it happened.
I
I think that because there's a lot of lead up to it in the dialogue and the audio recordings we get where she's like, all I want is to smooch up on this two-headed idiot so badly. And then at the end, she doesn't say they did. She just says, I have a kid now. Like, there's a huge leap in text. Like, there is no like, I'm pregnant with his baby. This is the happiest day of my life. It's just like, I have a kid now, and I told him about the kid, and he was pissed about that. That's weird. And I feel like there's a step missing where she definitely like did something, and that's why he was pissed that there's a kid because of it.
Is there a note where she's hiding the pregnancy?
What? Wait, does she have to? She's a lizard, right? Don't you have it in a corner?
Did she say she was hiding the egg somewhere?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, all of that seems like she definitely had a kid. I'm with you on this. I firmly believe she had a kid. The thing is that a kid that he was like, yeah, I'm here to help you have this kid, or did she create this baby because that's what she really wanted? She wanted a child with him no matter what, and so she like did whatever needed to get done. Also hilarious.
Yeah, I kind of interpreted it as she really liked him to an obsession with him in a way. And she, maybe they did the deed and that was the promise. And then when you had the very clever several audio files will play in a row, which I thought was very clever.
That was cute.
Yes, I did chuckle. It was almost like he was very surprised, and she kind of trapped him in a way. It's kind of like, I want him to be mine. I'm going to trap him with a child, and now we're forever tied to each other. Now he has to acknowledge me. Now, like, we have this kid, and then he still doesn't acknowledge her or even the kid, and she still doesn't get what she wants, which is him.
Well, there's
which I thought was quite dark if we interpret it that way.
They told the kid, "You're the most unwanted kid ever." It was great. It was like,
it was what, but
pretty much, yeah.
I have to use like process of elimination on this, because first up, how boring and lame is it if two-headed dad can't have kids, but whoops, the miracle happens because whoops. And then a second time, whoops, the miracle happens, and that's the whole story. Like, a clone would be way more interesting for the creation of Z'rell Ja in the first place, of dad being like, I can't have kids. I'm going to use the Golden City to create a perfect sire so that he may rule. Whoops, he's kind of a dick. Maybe I should have a contest. That's way more interesting than... And then if Z'rell Ja then went around and did the exact same, whoops, I thought I couldn't have kids, then they're just all mistakes.
So, yeah, I mean, in many ways, you could interpret it then as the existence of baby nullifies his entire plan. And that's even more an egregious problem than anything else. Like, why he wouldn't want to recognize that kid exists, because everything he's built to that point is in conflict with him existing, right?
I mean, even the dungeon goes into the idea of his big plan is he's going to infuse himself with all sorts of crazy stuff and make soldiers that are infused with things. And we see some of that. And this is the process of how they achieve it by, it all leads back to that first boss fight when we infiltrate Solution 9, that whole zone where it's like, he's a snake man now. And I think, and also the raids we're doing, so it all connects. And I think there's some sort of weird science thing that created this kid.
Yes.
I don't dispute it's definitely their kid. I just don't think this is like a natural birth. I think they scienced the hell out of this kid, and that's going to be the weird twist of like, there's something with this kid, something in him that's going to be wild, that there's a reason this character is here other than to be like, oh geez, being a king sure is tough. Like, there's got to be something.
And good at electro, and you have the kid in the bed with the sickness. Like, there's a lot of plot availability for Baby King to have an influence on his world. And I just think it is too big of a blow to Z'rell Ja's already weak character to say he had actual sex with a lizard and was like, no, how did this happen? No, and like was completely dumbfounded by it. Like, it's gotta be a scale or some sort of, bio, that blood that they then transformed into a kid using her own DNA. That's why like science and the kid can hack real good because he's got like his mom's influence there.
Yeah, because no computers.
Remember, he was raised by Robo Bro.
Yeah, he was raised by Robo Bro too.
He was raised by Robo King.
Plus, he has the very rare combination of being both one type of lizard and another type of lizard in one, which they've said multiple times. Like, that's not something that happens normally.
Right.
And so, it feels like this is going to lead somewhere. And again, there's about 18 different things that they hinted at, like, yeah, there's about 5 secret organizations at work here. And we got like 6 dudes over there who are secretly plotting something. And we got this guy over here plotting. So there's a bunch of things happening in the background that I'm sure this will pay off in some way. And if it doesn't, I'll be right back on one of these being like, what the hell was that? So it's fine.
Do you think they're going to age him up? They'll age him up.
That was my cook heading into 7-1.
They've done already like 30-year skips through the pool, right? They've done that already.
The twins haven't aged up, I don't think.
No, but if you go through the magic green door, you can come back 10 minutes later and 30 years have passed.
If on the other side of the magic green door is something there. I mean, we still don't know what's on the other side. Like, we don't know why they ran from their reflection to why they have the is their whole world electric, or is it just one part of it? I don't know.
That's interesting, because that was my cook heading into 7.1. Was that they were gonna?
You would think we would find out through Y'shtola. There'd be like a quest to go there and see what the hell's going on with their world, just to at least see it, because it hasn't been reunited and it's probably a mess. So what's the deal with that?
What they did with Yish this patch was the worst thing I've ever had experienced in FF14. They like pre-told us like, Yish is coming. She's gonna do some awesome shit. It's gonna be really cool. She's nearly finished and she's coming. And then she eventually showed up. She's like, but I'm not quite finished. I'll be back later. And then just left again.
Next patch.
I was like, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Like, she's coming. Trust us.
She's a 7-2 tease. She's absolutely a 7-2.
I thought that was fair. Horrendous. Yeah, no, that was a good bit of advertising. Come back next time. That was fine by me.
Yeah. Okay. So we're on the same page, Kyle? Where that is just Y'shtola was a tease.
Oh yeah. Everyone loves Y'shtola.
Okay.
Yeah, got a lot of her in 6.1. Hey, 7.2. Let's do it again.
I think they missed their window to age up King Baby. I think it would have been more impactful, like right out the gate. Like, okay, Dawn Trail's over. Things have changed. Start of 7.1. King Baby's older now, a full-size Roundtable Ja.
I mean, they have to keep him a baby, because I would imagine a Sphene return means that them trying to prop up a child to rule in Solution 9 is a plot element, right? Like, the people that live there are gonna be like, I don't want a child with the queen's literally right there. And I feel like that'll be a thing that will happen.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to try and discover what Sphene is, or maybe we successfully eliminate this one that we've seen right at the very end, but she comes back and they have this tech where they can just keep bringing her back and keep erasing people's memories. So we really have to get to the bottom of what is she? How are they making this happen? And the secret lies with King Baby.
Do you,
Jesse?
Oh, I was going to ask what you think the plan is for the villains in this time. But if you have something that's more pertinent to what was just said.
Well, specifically what Jordan said, but like not even what is she, which is she? Because I'm pretty sure there's 2 Sphenes right now.
Yeah, but I kind of thought when we switched off Living Memory, she was kind of like in a freezer and she just defrosted and she's just come stumbling out like, what's going on? And it's like the real Sphene.
But she knows enough about what has occurred to, I mean, I guess the real question is, what is the plan? I mean, they said what the plan is. Obviously, they're like, if you have one of the black things on your head, baby, we're going to do the lottery to you, which shout out to the classic story. But like, they're like, yeah, you win, by which you get to die. And everyone is going to feed you, or you'll feed. Who knows what they're planning. But they're like, yeah, there's only be 5,000 of these. And so they have a new system set up, and the old system doesn't work. I have no idea what's about to happen here.
But what do you think is going on? I had like 4 theories for what was happening here. What are you leaning at?
I would wager there's probably a group of like elite dudes who want that live forever vibe, and they're like, 5,000 people should keep us going. And so they're just going to sacrifice their own population because they're like the dudes in charge, and they're making the Sphene is them. The new Sphene is whoever the organization is that's behind everything, which I believe they gave us a name, but I can't remember the name right now.
Preservation.
Yeah. They're running the show for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Right.
I think that if you make a system that makes a royal immortal, why would you not experiment on them and then do it to yourself in an even better way? We do have that line in the dungeon that's like, we preserve the queen's, which could be, I really like. Yeah, and I liked what Jordan has said, like frozen body. Like we might actually have more parts of Sphene than just the recorded memories. That could be the body being like, whoa, I was in the big tomb tower the whole time.
I saw, just for clarity, I saw in chat, which I love this, is 5,000 people get to live. Actually, what was said is 5,000 people get to live forever.
Yes.
Endless, baby.
As endless, which means to me, we're killing 5,000 people and we'll just throw their memories in a computer, but we're going to use their souls to power our wacky lifestyle.
Yeah, like 5,000 get to, be immortal, but we're going to sustain that with the other lot of you.
I mean,
It's going to be a coin flip.
What if preservation just walks out and says, turn them in to this, and holds up a battery, and they're not dead? They don't get their souls removed. They go sit in cryopods and get fed tubes of dead people for all time, and it's just the Matrix.
We're good doing the Matrix.
Ooh, Slurpee. Do you not think there's any AI risk here? With because it bothered me that Sphenes could be damaged, because obviously natural things happen, right? Some electrical surge, something like that. In Solution 9, where Sphene's robo body would get damaged, and they must have had a system in place to instantly replace that. You can't have Sphene walking around like she's from Aliens or something, right? With all white goo and shit coming out of her, the face peeling off. So they would have to fix that and replace it. I was wondering if they
awesome.
I mean, it would have been awesome, but also pretty disturbing for people to see the queen with her eye hanging out and everything.
What if they had white goo coming out of someone's face in Final Fantasy 14? Never seen it.
Oh, yeah.
That would be strange. But is there an AI that literally keeps everything running in Solution 9? Like behind the scenes? And it's just an automated system. It's like,
that could be preservation. It may not be an organization. It might just be an AI that once the core system shut down, we lost Sphene. It was like, well, my programming is to boot Sphene back up and do a little refresh. Yeah, preservation. And
I was thinking I want it to be like HAL, HAL 9000, where it's like, it's just following its orders. It's not
just like Sphene was.
It's not malicious, and endless kind of keeps them going. The whole purpose of everything here is to keep them going forever. Living memory doesn't work. It's fucked. They've turned it off. It's broken. So now the next best way of doing that is to turn you guys into endless. But the little snicker,
yes,
the little look back to the camera, I was like, this is somebody inhabiting or controlling this.
I love your idea.
Not a house.
Yeah. Executing smile maneuver. Enter. Sadly.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that feels like someone's remoting in. We can control these people via this.
Also, they're at some point dovetailing this into Alexander, right? Like that one bridge that leads to nothing. At some point, they're going to reveal oh yeah, no, there was a giant robot. We all loved him and prayed to him. He was great.
I think that
would be cool.
Coincidence.
I mean, it makes sense.
Called Alexandria. There's a bunch of FF9 references. I have never played FF9, but I know Alexander is in it.
Oh. Well, Alexandria is called Alexandria for a reason. Put it that way.
Exactly. Also, I desperately want to be right. One of my big cooks before we finish 7-0 is like, this is going to be Alexander Tech. And I'm like, I don't know why, but it's the only other high-tech civilization that we haven't gone back to in a while. I don't think it's Elegance. I don't think it's Asians. I think it's going to be like Alexander Tech. And I just want to be right.
Could do both.
Yeah.
Really could do both.
They're really going in on what Electrope is capable of, based not only on the raid, but also the trials and also the dungeons. They're really like, this is kind of a thing that can do everything, which is slightly problematic in a world where there are magical rules, where you have one magic rock that can kind of break those rules. So I feel like that's going to be a thing they'll lean heavily on.
I thought they were kind of covering that by being like, no, Electrope harnesses the electric realm stuff and turns it into any element we want. Therefore, it's limited to this space. But now that Roundtable Ja is twirling his big mustache in the in-between dimensions, and it seems
surreal
Ja.
Yeah, how could you get those?
Jafar Lizard.
So real, Ja.
Jafar Lizard is now in a different in-between dimension, using it just fine, and perhaps even better than the people on the lightning dimension. It's a weird one.
Plus, things are created with it, like people. Like we fought.
It is a massive MacGuffin.
If you look at go do the raid again and just take the time to look at the like graphically what's happening in the Alliance raid. There's moments where like stuff fades in and out, and it's clearly just Electrope.
Mm-hmm.
And so dude's just making worlds with Electrope. That's like world-breaking power. And this is, and again, while Jafar is maybe the strongest character in the game, without a doubt, it does beg the question, what is this capable of, and how are people going to use it in the future?
More importantly, you know what's really interesting? Sorry. Just
go ahead, Jordan.
But because our Azem potential MacGuffin object also had a mention at the very end where Yastrola was like, I want to see that again. And I'm thinking, what if they have this technology where they keep making these worlds with Electrope, and then we have to use our Azem special hourglass to then go and shut down these worlds, and that's how we then combat it. That's how we counter it, because then we have to go to these Electrope made worlds perhaps. And I was thinking, how's that going to come into it? It's a very important item that has to come into it at some point. It's kind of been a focal point even from very, very early stages of the game before Dawn Trail even came out. So we need to utilize this at some point. And then if Electrope is making worlds, maybe that's what we're going to use to counter that somehow.
Or is it unstable? Chain reaction time, baby.
That would work well with the character being like, am I real? What was a Giga Hands? What was her name?
Giga Pants?
No, Hands. Preesh.
Oh.
Preesh. Because there's that part.
Is it Preesh or Prish? Jesse said Prish earlier. I don't know. I couldn't tell from the spelling.
It's from a game where no one says anything with voiceover, so it can be whatever the hell you want. I'm not going to tell you how to pronounce it.
So there's the part where you're like all sitting together and she's like, am I real? You know what? I'm not going to worry about that right now. And I think that plays well into Jordan's kind of theory that, and even Mike's maybe, that, well, that existence is flawed in the first place. Maybe it's a memory, but she's Electrope, and we get to have that cake of this crazy powerful MacGuffin while we have our powerful MacGuffin, and the two kind of cancel each other out.
Yeah.
But
they could go wild with it. Solution 9 could all be Electro people. You know, like the kids keep getting the disease. They keep having issues. Are they failing? I thought they were clones at first. Like because they're not dying. Sure. They're probably not procreating as much, right? Procreation is also based on the fact of replacing the population. Like people have that drive. And if they ever die, they kind of don't do that much, right? We see that in the real world. They just like cloning or doing whatever. And now the kids maybe are Electrope. You could get this weird fall down where actually there's only like one living person. Solution 9 left. The rest of them are all bullshit.
Just like you live too long, just surrounded by electricity. It's just free vasectomies for everybody.
Hey! So balls. What a team working together. You know, that's how we're getting it done. But it was that whole thing with what they could do with Electrope almost feels like too much, and I wonder if they'll try and get rid of it, because it seemingly has limitless potential of what it can do. Like if Surreal Ja has already figured out, it's like, oh, look what I can do with all this shit. It's an entire world. He's been studying it for like a week or however long, and he's already figured out how to do that. That means that there's a lot of things that can be done here with this stuff, right?
I'm trying to figure out, implication-wise, he got knocked into that hole and then ended up experiencing the world of Final Fantasy XI, but is it connected to the 9th where Alexandria is from, or is it a different world entirely? Like, I don't think we have that answer yet.
He said he was like seeing it like it was a movie or something. That's how I know when I was reading, I was interpreting my brain. It's like he was just floating around fragments of it, like it was like broken. And he was seeing like parts of this world, like an interstellar type, looking through a window at the end and seeing scenes of a world that were happening.
The world between worlds, which is what I think of like every time we get the cutscenes where we travel to the first or to dead ends.
Yes.
Like the Final Fantasy 1 like end credit scene. Like that.
And it offers the question, what is this world? Is it a different planet, a different dimension? Is it a different reflection of the source? Like, we don't have an answer, and I'm fine with not getting one, but I'd be curious if they tried to tie it in together in some way. Because, again, it's the Electrope, and creating a whole reality out of it is wild. And so it offers a lot of potential for where it could go from there.
Well, he said he was using the echoes in there that he found. So that suggests maybe they're just not saying the word memories. And that's why Preesh can keep going outside the world and be her own person once her, mind is kind of cleansed of the mind control.
She's definitely dissipating and turning into blocks at the end, for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
If Sphene Ja was inspired by a real world that he then went and made a simulacrum of using Electrope, couldn't Preesh be real? Couldn't she be from that real world?
Are you saying that she's our new alpha?
Yes. If he was close enough to another reality to be inspired by it, wouldn't that mean that reality was close in?
I'd be fine if she stuck around
proximity?
for Evs. I'd be all right with that.
Like a Preesh of Theseus, it's like if we keep swapping bits, it's like, which one's the real one? Like, you've got all the bits. Yeah. So
I think she is. That's my current cook on Preesh. I think Preesh is real. I think everyone else is a simulacrum.
What about
could be based off of her memories alone?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, if you just found her, that would be interesting. If this is like everything you got out of one person, because she hasn't really got her memories, which suggests nobody's got their memories really. Has it been extracted, prevented? Because that memory technology exists in Solution 9. Like, there's ways of doing it, of fucking with people's memories and doing stuff. That doesn't necessarily mean that she's Electrope and she's only existed for a short period of time. She could have been manipulated.
Well, that's the other thing is I know on every single one of these, when we've gotten together and talked about the MSQ since we've talked about the end of Endwalker, I've said, I think almost every time that I don't want them to break Ascian glass too soon.
Oh, it's
but so like not even that I think there might be an Ascian involved with what's going on with preservation. I'm gonna put that to the side for a second. I really want a voiced character who's an Ascian right now, because the only Ascian in the room is us, and we are an unvoiced character. We are dealing with like preservation of memory of loved ones, of the creation, or in some cases recreation of beloved homes and worlds, and I'm just like, an Ascian would be eating this up. We need to just hold an Ascian mirror up to all of this, because I just want to like open the door and be like, hey buddy, hey Emmett, dude, shit's getting real out here. You need to see this. You Mr. I built Amarat. What if you could just make your own planet?
I just had a thought. So when we first saw Sphene at the end, I thought that everybody who had the upgraded, did they rename it a Rio? What's it called? The thing in their ears.
The regulators?
Regulator, yeah. And they changed it to like a Neo regulator. So like the black version. They were like, oh, it's for the funeral. We're just going to make it black. I thought when Sphene first appeared that they took the memory from everyone else wearing this Neo version. They took the memory of Sphene and created her from everybody else's memory. So instead of creating something from her memory, it's from everyone else's memory. But then that kind of also then comes into the Alliance raid, where maybe he's creating things from his memory. It's Preesh from his memory.
Oh my God.
And that's why Emmett says, remember, it's really important you remember. And then he comes back because we remember him. No, I'm kidding.
No, I think you just I think you just solved it. They deleted everybody's memory of her being dead. And there's no cloud because we turned it off. So where would those files go but to the frozen cryo body of Sphene, good Sphene?
Which explains why she can call out that one kid by name, because it would be the memory of that kid.
Yes. That was the first thought when I saw her. I thought they took the memories of her from everyone else and then constructed this new Sphene. But then, yeah, that does play into the Alliance raid as well. What's happening with Roundtable Ja, for example.
It may not be a new Sphene. It's just a recreation of the Sphene like body. But if you have preservation piloting in it, for example, like we were saying earlier, then you can use those memories, like someone's whispering in your ear and being like, yeah, that's Steve. He remembers you being very nice to him. And you're like, Steve, oh my God, I remember you being so nice to me. Like that kind of thing you could do if you were trying to trick a population.
My favorite character in Veep.
Well, I mean, the Sphene that we see in Solution 9 is very general and just being like, you're all sad. I'm Sphene. I'm going to make you happy again because you don't want to think about death because everything in the world looks like razor blades to you now. Even your fucking pillow looks like a furnace of death because you've never really thought about this before and now you can't go anywhere because you're like toddlers and they're all like huddled up, right? So it's very vague. That works. That works. It's good. I thought it was really good. I thought the way the population reacts of like, I've never even thought about this being dangerous. And then they come back and they're like, did you hear about Brian, the hunter? He fucking died, dude. Like, that's no joke. He was doing his joke. He's doing his job. He's out there. And Brian's fucking dead now. And they're like, oh my God. And then they start looking around and like, why are we like 8,000 feet off the ground? This is stupid. We're all going to die. I loved all that stuff. And then she comes in. She's like, I'm going to make everything better again.
We're going to implement OSHA. It's going to be wonderful. We're going to get railings.
Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to kill you all, but make you endless so you're all fine. And
I will say,
afraid of death if you're already dead.
I liked that they gave Wuklamut the line of being like, this is some bullshit. I was so happy. Wuklamut was like, no. I was so happy. At least they gave Wuklamut the ability to be like, this sucks. You suck. This isn't Sphene. My Sphene was cool. I don't know about that, but my Sphene was cool. And this is trash. And I was like, thank God they gave this character a moment to be like, nah, this ain't real. And then everyone was like, that, when everyone just stared, that was awesome. That was such a good, everyone's just like, what'd you say about the queen? I was like, yeah.
So do you, okay. Now it's all twisted up. I was pretty convinced, and maybe it's just like the easy bait, that Living Memory is original Sphene. Like the very, very original version that they saved her body. They'd already backed up her memories, but they did save her body, and now they have a permanent base version to copy from whenever they need to make a new Robo Sphene, right? They've got this stored, Living Memory shut down, the project's over, so it released her. That kind of made sense. It was like, we don't need this anymore. But now maybe not. Because I mean, we're leading to civil war in Solution 9, right? That kind of feels like where we're going. It's going to be like, this is not what I pictured for you people from whatever Sphene's in Living Memory, based on their memories. And this one now that's like, I want to kill 5,000 of you, but this is really lucky, honestly, trust. And the people having to decide.
We're going to do Olympus Has Fallen with King Baby, and we're going to have to extract him to safety because everything's just going to be
kick the baby off. 2 Sphenes? Thumbs up. 2 Sphenes and a baby? No good.
Yeah. Okay, so Jordan, that is an incredible cook. Like, it's such an incredible read that if that is not what this ends up being, I think I'm officially going to be disappointed. Like, that's such a rad way for it to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's first evil smirking Sphene.
Svevel.
Svevel, as Kyle really wants that to catch on. Who's probably other Sphene? At the very end, we get the first person view, which hasn't happened since Shadowbringers. We see a hand. It doesn't have, as Kyle likes to call them, the hanties. They look like wearing panties on your hand, like the lacy doilies. I'd like to call them doilies.
Well, and the big deal being the final line, why am I ... And granted, an anime protagonist will stare at their hand for any number of reasons. They love doing it. Happens all the time. However, there's a fabulous movie called The Last Unicorn, where the unicorn becomes alive and says the wonderful line, why can I feel my body dying? And it makes you think. If you were a computer program for thousands of years, or hundreds, or however long Sphene was around, it would be rather weird to suddenly be pumping, be thumping in your chest, and your veins are going, and you run out of breath, and you're itchy and hairy, and, life's weird and uncomfortable.
I'm researching The Last Unicorn.
I've never seen that movie. I did not realize it was so existential.
It's one of those hard lines that like a children's 80s cartoon would do, you know? Just kind of throw that in there.
That's a throwback.
We're all just stunned by you broke the show with The Last Unicorn, Kyle. Well done.
Yeah, last time it was Sailor Moon.
Well, what's Willow, where they all turn into pigs, right? Like 80s movies just do this. They hated children and they wanted everyone to have nightmares. And this was just one of those moments.
They respected their audience and they weren't afraid of getting real.
This is why I love this MSQ so much, though. Like, I haven't really, like, after pre-Dawn Trail, we had a bunch of theories, because obviously we had the GPU images, the brief snippets for Solution 9. It was like, oh, this could be holograms, this could be all sorts of stuff. And then we got it, and it was like, oh, okay, kind of cool. Want to know more. But now when there's just that little scene at the end, was like, okay, there's 8,000 theories that could be happening here. Like, I really kind of wanted it to be the original Sphene. Because I always went with the idea that Preservation or whoever, the people loved Sphene, so they used that as the model and the basis and her kindness. But then they were like, yeah, but we kind of really need her to do this and to do this and keep changing bits of her personality to suit the overall goal. Keep messing with it over the generations. It's like, oh, okay, this didn't work. Let's modify this. So the actual Sphene that we meet in the Dawn Trail MSQ is a very long cry from the original. And now the original comes out and she's like, wait, what are you guys doing? You're like trying to live forever in a machine and you've got things strapped to your heads and you don't know how to live life anymore. That's not what I wanted, and then came out preaching this, which is actually antithetical to how the people are these days. They want a safety net back. They've lived like babies for so long that they want it back. And now you've got this really cool contrast of the original one saying, I'm the original. I'm the one, I'm the person you people actually fell in love with. This is a pretender to the throne, but the pretender is also giving them what they want. And now, where does that story lead us in this stark contrast of the original loving queen versus the manipulative queen that actually wants to kill 5,000 of you and turn you into robo people?
Yeah.
And which side are the people going to choose?
Well,
that's tricky.
Well, and who they are even going to believe. Like another Sphene shows up with post 7.0 memories and the change that she experienced after meeting her end at the hands of the Scions and Wook-Lamont, being like, no, that's not the real Sphene. That's just a simulacrum built of my memories up to a point where I changed as a person. Would they even believe another Sphene coming out? And then there's also like, why even focus on Gulool Ja, like King Baby? Like there are it makes me think they're going for a bit of a nature versus nurture arc, or just like leaders having to contend with old versions of themselves. Like Gulool Ja is having to compare himself to all the horrible shit that his father did when he was leader, because Gulool Ja is on an express train to leading an entire nation. But then if you bring back Sphene with her memories intact and put her up against her people's memories of herself, she's also having to contend with her past sins quite literally, which I kind of think is thematically what they seem interested in exploring.
So I went back through and was trying to find a line of dialogue, but I found something completely different that I'm kind of mesmerized by. And I just put this out there because it's a pretty interesting line from Sphene when you're in living memory. And Sphene says, the kind and gentle Queen Sphene was too weak to serve her people, and so she will serve them no more. I will erase all memory of the living Sphene. So who has cursed me with this soft and powerless nature? So I'm curious if that is metaphor and a discussion of the memory of the living version, or if that's like what you like, there's just a living Sphene and I'm going to erase the memory that people recognize that there's somewhere there is like the frozen body of Sphene. I don't know. I thought that was interesting.
I've got
another if they change the dagger, right? Yeah.
With Y'shtola and Shale, her name's Shale. Sorry, names are lost to me today, but
yeah, sure.
Right at the very end, when you see what I assume is Sphene's hand, I think that might be the real Sphene that's defrosted.
Can we call it dagger? They're gonna call it dagger.
Yeah.
100%. If they go
She's
down
gonna be
that road.
sword.
Oh no, yeah, that's who she's in FF9. Because they didn't call it Garrett, they called it Sphene when they're both stones, right? That was the ha 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 ha. If you know what's going on. But she chooses the name Dagger in 9. I think it's gonna be really cool if they go down that road. But Jordan's idea is that she's built of all these weird memories. That would be
So
That's also like a little bit of a Reen vibe of like, you pick your own name. I'm Dagger. Like, okay, cool. Also, I have red hair now. Like, yeah, all right.
So why does
Whatever
she
makes you happy.
say when Wuklamad, let's see what she actually says here. So Wuklamad is like, what are you? And she says, I'm Sphene, the queen of reason. Why would evil Svevel say that?
I think the reason why there's a smirk afterwards is it's like one of those, I'm the queen of reason, duh. Like, you know who I am. Evil laugh. Like, I feel like it's the hint is that is a character saying like, well, I'm the queen of reason and I'm here to help and y'all love me and don't question any of this, which is, I think the crux of what the mystery is here is who is really trying to control everyone.
But isn't Koana the vow of reason? So is just a word overlap for no good reason, or is she gonna kill Koana?
She was reason, and
Roundtable Ja was also leading.
Yeah, they had their own setup.
Yeah, but that suggests that this queen is going to take over the world again, and then we're going to have a fabulous scene where Shrivel and Jafar Lizard are both trying to take over the world at the exact same time.
Are you implying that Jafar will kill Sphene? Because if so, I'm here for it. I say depose the tyrant queen, uplift the greatest character in the history of video games. Oh, you mean...
it looks like Play-Doh.
It's Surreal Ja.
That's so stupid. It's the least threatening character that has ever existed in video games.
I love him.
He's so cute. He's so mustache. I love him too. I think he's adorable.
I'm deeply offended, but you sat through my Nanamo slander, so I will allow it, Mike.
Yeah, it's fun.
I was so excited for Surreal Ja. I was so mad when he got offed in 7.0, and we're just.
Were you more mad about him or Otis?
I was sad about Otis because Otis was like my second favorite character to come out of Dawn Trail. Like Otis was a hell of a character.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Otis should have been in the party for the duty support for the final trial against Sphene.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
True.
Yes.
Just
that would have been really cool.
Would have been cooler. But
going back to the living memory of Sphene, like the implication then is either I'm erasing the memory of a living Sphene or I'm erasing the living memory of Sphene. And maybe it happened. Like maybe there isn't any memory of a Sphene left, and it's actually
just blank.
Yeah, I think Okaymage is absolutely spot on. Stealing memories from the people that have the things in their head, so that you can fake being a queen based off of the love other people have for you. Is I think like a real scummy tactic to be like, yeah, like it would be. Like if you stole the memory, like if you went to a convention and you were doing a signing and then you stole the memories of the people coming to your signing so you could really kiss their ass when they got up in front of you. And you were like, remember that time years ago when we hung out at that one party? I do. And they're like, you remember? Like, of course I do. Evil smile. Like, yeah, it's that vibe. Because you can control them better if they they love her. And
but you think there's a mastermind behind it, right? That's giving 100%. The smile. Yeah.
Yeah. Whether it's an rogue AI evil thing or if it's preservation as an organization or if it's an Ascian, there's just someone else who's like pulling a Elidibus in Ardbert vibe.
Preservation is an Ascian, could be an answer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure. I mean, it could be a group that it would be funny if this was it. And I hope it's not, but actually we kind of love this. Remember all that 30, 40 Ascians that just had black masks that weren't powerful, but were like on Team Ascian, if it was just them, like, look, we have no real powers, but we're like still pretty pissed you killed all of them. That could be a fun thing where it's just like hired goons. Like,
yeah. Who are you? Well, I looked after the lights, and he's the water boy.
Yeah.
This is Bill. Bill cleaned the upstairs floor.
I think it's hilarious.
The janitor.
Yeah, like one of the first guys you beat up way back when at like level 14 is back.
That first solo duty. Like he just comes out
and he's like
the golem guy.
Yes, the guy who had the mask that's just a black mask that you're like, really? That's the laziest. Okay, yeah, I want those guys back. I think it'd be hilarious.
Those two nerds from Hawkeye Manor. Yeah, like get them in here.
You just do the whole gag from Austin Powers of, look at you. You don't even have a name tag. Why don't you just lie down? Just lie on the floor.
I mean,
I got lost in what Jesse was saying, though. Do you think the Sphene in living memory then has had a complete memory erase? So she's got the living body of the original Sphene, but is like a blank slate.
Yes.
That what you're thinking? Really, so the threat from Sphene in living memory was, I'm going to erase the goodness of me. I think that's what that was supposed to represent. But she says living memory, and either that, you can interpret that as the memory of the person who was Sphene and who exists in the living memory, and I'm going to erase that. Or somewhere we got a Sphene in a box, and I'm going to erase the memory of everyone remembering there's a Sphene in a box.
It's my Sphene in a box.
It's like it holes in the box.
Yeah, like no one will go back. I tend to believe that it's more referring to the memory of a person. I think Sphene as a character died years and years and years ago, and we saw her get hit by that lightning saving people. And then she just died, and they brought her back as like an AI to run the show for everyone because everyone loves Sphene so much. I think that's what happened, but who knows? There might be a real Sphene somewhere.
I think she appears at the very end of this little video here. I think
that's the real Sphene, I think. And I've two things I wanted to delineate. So the hand has nothing on it, and we know Sphene's armor, she has like doilies on her hands, so that would have been an identifying mark. So two things. One, maybe they just removed it to keep this ambiguous. I could see that being a reason. Or I can pull a Jesse and I can read into it too much. I think this is the real Sphene coming out of the live stream, because when you come out of the live stream, you're naked, and Y'shtola is there and has had that exact experience. And at the beginning of 7.2, she's going to find a naked Sphene, come out of the live stream, and just be like, oh my God, this shit has happened to me more than once.
The question, though,
first time?
Yeah. But the question is, when it comes to Y'shtola in the live stream, we had to drag her out multiple times, be it ourselves or with Emmett or whoever. We had to be like, yo, you in there? Hold on. We ripped her out of it. And that's a different experience than like getting pooped out by the live stream as Sphene. Like that's an entirely different thing. So,
and that's why I like the theory that when you turn back on the lights and living memory's gone, all that collected data that you didn't want to make Shrivel was ejected into the body.
Do you think, whoa, do you think living memory was entirely powered on the fact that they were using old Sphene as like a battery for living memory? And yes. so when it powered down, unnecessary to keep her around, door opens to her little chamber, and she's like, what the hell?
And she does this,
what
comes
year
out.
Is
yeah.
it?
That's exactly what I think happened. I think it's like you shut it all down. There was just no reason for any of the systems to function anymore. And it's just like, it's like Genova almost. It's like, yeah, we turned it all off. So like, it's turning off. It's opening up there. That's exactly what I think happened.
I mean,
because they were preserving her. They've always got the safety backup, right?
You could even do Faith flowing into the Queen was making her more etherically dense to power the whole thing. So eject the battery. But hey, 5,000 batteries will keep preservation going. And we do that Matrix thing I mentioned earlier.
Or new Sphene, we see at the end there, potentially new Sphene, is equally as fake as Prish. And they and his electrope thing so no matter what, in the end, gone, but has returned for the sake of like, I'm not gonna let them ruin my memory. Then we get to have a whole thing with Wuk Lamont and real Sphene, and they have their like, hey, you weren't so bad. No, you weren't so bad. And then she fades away because it's Final Fantasy 14, and we know this person's dead. So it's another like, now say goodbye one more time. Because if you pop up in the middle of living memory, it isn't like she showed up in Solution 9, which is, if you remember, the top of Solution 9 is where they're storing all the stuff to create. It would be like if you were playing a video game and you shut down the game, but like, I don't know, like your CPU showed up in the game. Like it doesn't make logical sense that like, or like your battery pack was like, well, now that you're not using me, I guess I'll appear in your game. Like it doesn't check out, right? It doesn't make sense to have a character appear in the place that doesn't exist.
I also want us to find a vault of Sphene bodies, don't you? They must exist. Unless they're building a fresh one every time she gets damaged over the generations.
But even Sphene wasn't a real body. Sphene was like, I take over the bodies of little robot dudes.
Right, as a projection. Right.
Yeah. Her soul would jump from one to the other. And that's why I'm like, I think it's just some soul rebirth shenanigans, because they made a big deal about Otis being the test, and that it wasn't quite figured out yet. And he's just like, the soul and memory as a whole just like ported over to a suit of armor. And so I think Sphene being close to the foundation of that tech, something similarly strange could be going on with how they preserved her soul and her memory.
I think like, but if you look at what's going on with when you return to go back to living memory, there's still people walking around that haven't left yet. And I think there's potential for this could just be another one of those where it's a Sphene spirit that's here to right some wrongs and be like, yo, this is my last shot to fix stuff before I fade away.
Do you think they play the Sylvanas arc of it's split into two Sphenes? One is the purpose-driven, my job is only to protect exactly what she was trying to do. And the other one is just pure emotion. And
I think that's what they're going to
go for that angle. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those. It doesn't start out that way, but it will be like we have the Queen of Reason who is being controlled by someone else and is like, "Don't you understand what I'm doing's good for everyone, but it's really just good for the few of us. And I'm being reasonable with my request to live forever." And then you have this vow of resolve, which is the other Sphene, which is like, I am resolved to cut this shit off right now. Like, we are not doing this anymore. As a people, I have to set everyone free, like that kind of vibe, where they can play with the resolve reason back and forth again and just in a different way.
Yeah.
Which leaves us
I wonder if we'd play an angle to unify them.
Maybe, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that still leaves us with 7.3 kill Sphene again, but bad Sphene.
Twin Sphene. Now you fight two of them.
We end up fighting whoever's behind Evil Sphene, not Evil Sphene herself. We fight Preservation in 7.3.
Which is the people that killed Kryle's parents. Fuck those guys.
Yeah. I like the thought of them being like the janitor Asians as well. That's my favorite thing.
Honestly, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I loved the council fight and the alliance raid. So let's close out 7.3 with a council trial.
Yes.
Just a bunch of Black Mask Asians all confused as to what's going on.
What do you mean? Zodiac's dead.
Arc.
Yeah.
And then it's like Asian janitor from 1.0 pulling the strings all along, jailer style.
You thought you had Hermes.
I'm going to out you real fast because I can't believe you haven't brought up your original cook back when we beat 7.1, which was, wouldn't it be cool if Preservation was an Asian who didn't know the war was over?
Yeah, I love that trope.
Just
keep it going.
No, I mean, like, that's exactly what I'm saying is I feel like Red Mask Asians, like the big guys, we should be done with them. But I like the idea of just like the dude who was in the jungles in the middle of Asia till 1974 thinking World War II was still happening. I love, and it's just like they're goons. It's just a few of their, a great example is, minor Final Fantasy XI spoilers, but literally one of the plot points from Final Fantasy XI is you defeat the big bad, but there's like one of their goons who refuses to quit. And he's like, I will burn the world to the ground and let you guys think you won. And I think that could be a really fun thing to do here for an Asian, like black masked Asian, to be like, they were going to make me immortal, dude. I was living the best life, and now I'm going to have to be immortal through using this living memory stuff. Like, cool, great, thanks. But I'll get it done. And that could be interesting.
I mean, that'd be a cool dick move. The classic, like, oh, you'll be a vampire someday. Don't you worry. You just keep serving us well. And he doesn't have any reflections. It's just some schmuck. Like,
he's an Asian's familiar.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Completely. Yeah.
The Asians from Wish.
Yeah, they definitely say that, all the people they selected were at some point someone who, like, you're like 1/14 a really cool Asian, but it doesn't. But, like, they're not powerful. They aren't one of the original guys. They're less powerful than, Gaia or all those other people. They're just really eager to do, they want to climb the corporate ladder of Asians, and they just want the chance. And now they can't because there's nothing left. And so they're going to get their immortality any way they can.
And they weren't on the source to be getting rejoined. So the Asians weren't even looking at them for promotion. They were just out on, whatever dimension we're hanging out on. They're just coming by their cubicle being like, good work.
Yes.
Keep it up the good work.
I look forward to fighting Guillermo.
So
it's going to be great.
To touch on the Alliance raid. Okaymage, did you ever play 11?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Were you kind of in the, like, what'd you think of it in general? What's of the just MMO vibes on display?
I thought visually it was stunning going through that first kind of plaza with the tables and everything like that. I thought it was beautiful. And then I thought the fights were really intricate, like from a mechanical standpoint. They were quite hard. It took a while to get through. And yeah, somebody who hadn't played 11, I could still appreciate it, even when you're going through the story of it, like I said before, and you're kind of in that main hub and you've got the various Easter egg NPC references. I was like, this feels like a cool reference. Like I can kind of get in the spirit of it, but I don't, get the joke entirely, but I'm sure this means a lot to some people. I still really enjoyed it. But yeah, there was a lot of setup, I feel like, story-wise. We haven't really sunk our teeth into what's going on yet. We've kind of just putting the pieces on the board, but the board looks interesting. So, yeah.
And Jesse, with your advanced 11 knowledge, is the Shadow Lord pretty big potatoes, or was that just...
Yeah, that's the final boss of the first major story arc. Like the first standalone thing, he's the final boss. There's a big reveal about the nature of the world and how that was just like a normal dude who got screwed over by his friends and wanted vengeance and absolutely hates everyone. So it's like it's pretty interesting. But the guys you fight before him, canonically, you fight technically after him. So the big reveal at the end of 1.0 for Final Fantasy XI is after you beat that boss, those dudes show up. And you're supposed to be like, wait, they're like evil versions of all the races of the world? What's that about? And that's supposed to be the thing that leads you into the next one. Except in this, we fought him first, but also I think Fafnir, which was the second boss, I don't even remember fighting that dude. So I feel like that's from after I quit and went to go play WoW. So I feel like they were kind of all over the place story-wise. And pretty sure you don't even fight. That was just hey, we're going to introduce you to this character and give her giant, goofy boxing gloves. But with that said, mechanically, the Prish fight, once you pick up on the, saying things 1, 2, or 3 times, the way that fight works and it determines where you're supposed to position, once you're there, shit's great. That shit I loved that. I was enjoying that tremendously. All of the different mechanics, all the different boss fights, I loved. I love seeing, like, they take you to places that you would see in the original game, and they include little things. So, when you're in the floating area, and he's like, what's in that tower over there? If you played Final Fantasy XI, like, oh, I know. But obviously they're not showing you, so it is very clearly just for Final Fantasy XI players. Or if you're in the forest, and it's like, whoa, what's that big crab? And everyone who played Final Fantasy XI is like, oh, I know that stupid asshole, right? Or if you're in Lower Juno and there's characters walking around, they're like, looking for a group, pentathrust, do you have it? Like that, it's fun and cute, and you're like, all right, yeah, this is Final Fantasy XI. It's just story-wise, yeah, there's like no connective tissue to the actual game. It is its own thing.
Do you think they can keep that up for 2 more wings, or?
I think they're going very similar to Omega in that Siralja has created a Omega experience for you and Prish is literally just alpha. And you're going through this thing, because what he says at the end is like, boy, I'm gonna need someone else to defeat them. And just having played Final Fantasy XI, I'm like, they're gonna use the brothers. It's definitely happening. And then after that, he's gonna be like, well, the brothers didn't work out. I'm gonna have to go in and create some sort of god. And we're definitely gonna have to fight Promethea for the last raid, 100%. Like, I'm convinced of this. They're gonna do the main arc of Final Fantasy 11, but it's not going to be in any way that represents the story of Final Fantasy 11. He's just going to throw stuff at us that he thinks will beat us, and people who played Final Fantasy 11 will be like, yeah, I remember that, but I don't think it's going to be a, like, get you to play Final Fantasy 11 kind of experience.
So what you're saying, because you're saying it's Omega, is that they are not beating the Dawn Trail of Stormblood 2 allegations anytime soon.
No, 100% not. Okay. I'm completely convinced this is our, like, the new Stormblood. Yeah.
Okay.
Which I will say, I love the Omega raids, so I am here for it if that's what they do.
And I'm having a similar experience to the Omega raids is what I'm experiencing in 11, because I did not grow up playing Final Fantasy. I went and did the Omega raids, and I'm like, I have no frame of reference for any of this, but this train fight's cool as shit. I loved Omega. And I didn't, none of those references meant anything to me.
How did Omega start? Omega started strong, right?
Omega starts with you. So the beginning of the expansion is an Omega versus Shinryu battle. And that goes on forever. And then Omega crashes into the ground, and we don't touch it for the entire expansion until post-patch content. And then we're like, whoa, let's go into that weird, crazy hole. And then we get sucked into a computer simulation where we're put on Team Alpha because Omega thinks we suck so badly as fighters that they put us on the crap squad with Alpha, and yet we defeat all the different, like, you know, I'm trying to think of what it was, like Sigma group and like Gamma group. And we beat them all, and then Omega's like, damn, I guess I gotta fight these guys. But really, what made Omega fun was Sid and Nero working together to solve it, and bringing in Alpha as part of, like, the team. And so really, even though it was let's go back and look at all the Final Fantasies that were, in reality, it's not about those. Yeah, you're fighting Kefka, and yeah, you're fighting all these different characters from the previous Final Fantasies, and you're fighting every major boss from the early Final Fantasies, but it does not at all mean you need to know a damn thing about them. They don't go into the deep lore of who these people are. You're just fighting them. I think that's kind of what they're doing here. It's like, yeah, we're not gonna, if you want lore for Final Fantasy 11, go talk to the one NPC that's in Lower Juno. But other than that, just enjoy. I think that's what
I hope we got a better hook. I think that's all I'm missing, is I didn't get a hook. Mm-hmm. I just felt a little like, oh, we're doing tacos again.
Sure.
That is true.
Yeah. We're doing tacos, we're back and forth. Okay.
I think your mileage varies on how much you care about Cyril Ja, because obviously Jesse is hyped. I am also hyped because I really like the character. So to me, I look at, well, Cyril Ja is involved, so this is directly tied into the story of Dawn Trail. Also, they're using Electro. So
I completely agree. I think they're actually using all parts of the post 7.0 story to really hammer home points from the main plot, be it the trials or the raid or the alliance stuff. I think it's all sort of gonna come together and be like, we're gonna learn more about Electrope, we're gonna learn more how people use it, what it can do, what it's capable of. We're gonna learn more about putting animal spirits inside your body to give you magic powers. It's all gonna come together. And they even said in the normal raids, like, yo, you keep juicing up on animals, it's gonna mess you up, man. And I feel like that's gonna lead to something. So there's definitely, I think they're actually trying to go out of their way to be like, no, this time, this isn't like Nier where it's a one-off thing and where it's gonna have a story to it, but it's gonna be a different story. This isn't, you know, us going back and exploring something else. This isn't, I think it's all connected this time, which I'm here for.
I have a question for Jordan. Did it make you any less angry at Gulool Ja, having him as being the focal character for the Alliance raid?
No, it kind of felt like fan service in a way, especially when he's carrying Preach. The amount of it should have been
I'm not boxing both people.
When is that cosplay going to happen, Mike?
FanFest isn't for a while.
You get one of those inflatable suits. You know, like you're being carried off by an alien.
I'm not doing the stage cosplay again. That's not happening.
I bailed last time, so
Oh,
guess
no.
I need to do it. I'll be back all Jar Jar, go waddling onto the stage.
Well, consider this fan serviced, because I was very happy to see Buckle Shasha back in action.
And we wasted all his money to get back at him.
I mean,
Not
it
me,
gave me
baby.
the option. It gave me the option to offer all the money out the gate, and how do I not see how that ends up? You
didn't want to barter? Oh, I was full on barter. It was great.
That was, by the way, Mike, when you were talking about like, having to go back and forth again to all these places during the quest, I was fine with all of it. And then the second they're like, we don't have time to explain to everybody how dangerous it is to be here. We have to be fast about this.
Right?
Let's do an auction. I was like, this
is why I was checked out. The pacing was so bad. Yeah, I was like, wait, you keep every first 30 minutes was stressing the importance of time, keeping people out of here because the thieves were already there, right? We had to hunt down the thief who's got this stuff. We've got to keep everybody out. We've got to do all this. But at the same time, it's like, let's go have some tacos. And now we're going to go do this. I was like, what is happening? And this has nothing to do with FF11. And now I'm really annoyed because I was genuinely excited to have that FF12 experience like we did with Fran, where it's like, what is this place? This is cool. This is a really cool character. Not just because, the way she's dressed or anything. It was like, I want this. This war is going on. We need to know about it.
I was going to say, I must stress again, very, very Stormblood in that if you look at what we were doing, the Empire is going to war. And we're like, hold up. I got to go in my computer simulation and fight some robots, bro. I'll be back in a minute.
yeah.
It is very Stormbloody, this expansion.
I see the connective tissue big time. But my final thought on the raid, because we talked a little bit about just kind of the expectations of what Final Fantasy XIV gives you and like what it delivers and how it goes about dishing out its story, maybe getting a bit long in the tooth now or expected. Like we kind of see it coming. We know what they're going to do. We got into that a bit when we talked about 7.0. And the raid has had me thinking about the Alliance raid specifically has had me thinking about this, even though I do quite like it. I had a blast. We just did it on Thursday. I had a really good time, but it's where I really want them to just break from tradition. Just because you did it before and maybe some folks are expecting it, that doesn't mean you need to do it again. Like it feels like a lot of the Alliance raids, they have these areas that like just you are in and only you can explore. It's like this entire Alliance raid is a love letter to another MMO. And I don't get to see other players in your recreation of a major city. Like I wanted to see other players running around in there. I wanted to have other stuff happening in there. Like instead of an auction, close it out with like a world boss. Like make us go do a fate in that new area with other players, make it feel like a communal experience, even when you're not simply raiding.
Did you guys ever do the Pixie Beast Tribe quest?
Yeah, and you get that special land at the end.
And there was just nothing in it, and it sucked. It's huge, massive, fun, hilarious theme park made of candy, and it looks like it's from Wreck-It Ralph. Where they go to like Candyland and they do the race cars and all that. But like you were saying, I was like, this should be a shared experience. There should be all this going on because they make these beautiful landscapes.
Some folks in chat are immediately being like, well, you can. Like, you're not listening, folks. I'm saying as part of the story, as part of the game that they make you do, give it more gameplay, make it more interactive. Remember that you're an MMO and include other players in this. The fact that you can technically go back and hang out with your friend after all of this is done is not at all what I'm asking for.
Would you have preferred, even though it's the raid quest line, they got a bit further and made a zone, because we go to Juno, but it's like a street, right? And I assume in FF11 it's not just a street, right? There's places to go. Just looks a little suspect. I don't know.
Juno, for all intents and purposes, was just a street for the most part.
Yeah, I just wondering
when you were there, you hung out on that street 90% of the time.
if they made a zone in the next Beast Tribe or whatever they're calling it these days, because I hate the current one, the tourism thing. I can't bear that story. If they had made it into a zone where, you know, there's a faction in there and things like that. So you kind of you actually went to a recreation of an FF11 zone, and he could have that MMO experience in there. It's like, oh, we're meeting there, and there's actually like, you know, there's fates and things like that, and S tiers and all those kind of things wandering around. Is that what you're thinking? It's just as like a bit of an extra, nothing huge, but like something that's like we're actually all in this big playground together.
I'm not even asking for it to be bigger than the zone they made as it is, but like, you know, have us fight something like have like. I don't know, like not to go too far into like what other MMOs do with like, and it's a patch and we got a new mini zone and there's new dailies there and that kind of a thing. But this is the one time where I was like, I feel like they would fit, like, especially because they were pushing for this narrative of it's dangerous here. We got to get people out. It's like, wouldn't it be cool if we did some hero shit instead of having an auction and we did it with other players? Like, just because it's a raid doesn't mean the only gameplay portion has to be the raid. Like, this is part of a patch. We could have had a mini zone with like 2 or 3 fates in that one little area, and like the first fate you do is tied into this main story, and other players appear and help you with it. I think,
or maybe make the little auctioneers like temporary, their auction house in Final Fantasy 14, how it works, and then you turn it off later. Much like if we go buy Restoration for Heaven's Ward, it's sort of all kind of half done and weird looking at it as it is now.
At least I would have been more engaged.
It's just a thought I had. It's just I'm like, I don't ever really wanted this before, but something about this just makes me want, like, just surprise and delight me. You just throw me a little curveball of like, oh hey, this is.
I hope I get turned around on it. I mean, there's 2 parts of 14 Dog Trail right now. I'm really in that mindset with, like, the MSQ. I'm on board with now. I'm intrigued again. This thing's happening. I want a resolution. Right, I'm like interested in where they're going with it, and like I didn't feel that after the main MSQ. I was like, oh, okay, maybe we'll go to 9th, maybe we won't, maybe there's a Zem, maybe, but it wasn't like cemented, which was their intention. Now I'm in, but the Alliance raid and the Arcadian, give me something to be hooked into there, because right now I'm not there. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do it. The bosses were great. Had super fun with all that stuff. Loved the Arcadian bosses. Thought they were all fantastic. But the surrounding package, and I'm used to, and it's that expectation you were talking about earlier when it comes to FF14. You're used to like Alexander, great story, time traveling cat solving the universe, awesome, so good. You know, going into Omega, all the crazy things happening there, and then it ties into what's going on later on with Meteon and things like that. All these wonderful elements. I want that. I just don't quite have it yet. And I get that it's a love letter. I mean, we've seen it a million times in other games. It's like, this is really cool. But it was no Deadpool and Wolverine. Right? That's my take. It's like, that's also a love letter, but done in a way that's like, this is a blast. This is so fun, regardless of what I knew what the hell was going on. And I'm not there yet.
Well, what is,
and I want that.
What is 2 of the most famous characters in media in modern day, and the other is an MMO known for being grindy? I mean, it's kind of hard to.
Well, I want to see a tribute to Pandemonium Warden. You know, the stuff that FF11 was really renowned for being absolutely just absurd, would have been cool. Even if they'd like faux de-leveled you and stuff, the things that happen in that game. Like, there's a lot of elements of that game that I don't think people even know about. Like, unless you watch like a historical video on how these games worked. How many people have actually played 11 and played with that idea? Like you're saying there, played with it in the MMO style. Play with some of the really funky aspects that actually existed back then, including like super weirdly long boss fights that were like, okay, this boss takes like 12 hours to kill. That's fun. And you're like, what?
Yeah, didn't it have one of the hardest open world bosses that took the longest time to take down? Was it?
I lived that life. Oh, I was there.
Yeah, longest. Yes. Absolute Virtue.
They put it in Eureka. I know they put it in Eureka, but at the same time, like, yeah, it would kind of be cool to experience that again in a way.
Yeah, almost have Sir Aljar saying, "Oh, this is stupid. We're not going to use this boss." You know, like some fun elements of that. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, you got de-leveled and all those kind of things.
What is question for the group here, and maybe someone in chat knows this as well. What are the trials that we're going to get? Have they mentioned once what the trial series is? There's every expansion, we have 4 trials, and we have, like post 0.0 trials.
Yeah, it's usually a trial series, and that's even a question. Are they going to do it like they did before Endwalker, or are they going to do it like they did in Endwalker, where they bake the trial series into the MSQ?
No, I want it separate again.
I don't think they've said a damn thing about it.
Yeah, I don't think they have. I'm trying to wrap my brain.
It did like flesh out the MSQ content-wise, and the MSQ only players seem to enjoy that. So I think the majority of the feedback they would get would be good, despite.
I mean, so like looking at the trials that we've had in the past, Endwalker was all the stuff around Final Fantasy IV, right? Shadowbringers was the Final Fantasy VII weapons. And then we had Stormblood, which was fighting all of the 1,000-year-old animals. Yeah. And then Heaven's Ward was doing basically fighting the bosses from Final Fantasy VI. And then in A Realm Reborn, we had all the like Mogulmog and Leviathan and Shiva and stuff. So there's no indication of what this is going to be.
A man can dream. I hope to God. The first trial is Donald, the second trial is Goofy, and the third trial is Mickey, and we get Keyblades.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh.
And then Elsa comes running in on Shiva's bridge.
No,
Yes.
I will not. I will not let it go.
That would be, I mean, if the new Ultimate, like, when Gaia shows up in Shiva form and actually turns into Elsa, that would have been a twist. That would have been a full twist on a future rewritten. That would have been crazy. I would have been down.
I think they MSQ it, and that's where we get our withdrawal. What are they called? This is where we get our kaiju that are being now driven by people inside them as set up during the
That's
dungeon.
very interesting. Yeah, giant creatures.
Ooh.
Yeah, the V-Draw.
Bio mecha.
Yeah, and it could do
Some sort of Metal Gear.
It'd be sick as its own side thing, but I think the pipeline for MSQ content, people just like it being kind of 2 days worth, Like it.
Do you
it
not
feels
think it's
good.
because so many people didn't, like, how often do you hear
Exactly.
what is whirl it?
Yep. Exactly.
And you're like, are you for real?
Yeah.
It's
And it's because
illegal
it's on
that
the
that
side.
exists.
Well, yeah, when they put it in the sides, like, there's just less engagement with that content as the player base. Whereas the MSQ, everybody plays it. And it's like, okay, if we're going to make this, we need to make sure everybody plays it. That kind of approach, which is a bit of a Blizzard approach, but I get where they're coming from. It's like, we made this and like people just don't even know it exists.
It's so
It's literally a
bizarre,
problem.
and there's no way to verify, right? Like we have no statistics where we can go and look at how many people completed Whirlit versus how many people completed 6.x.
Right.
But it is so strange as someone who played World of Warcraft for 20 years, like skipping raid style content. Like that just seems like wild to me. But that's certainly the vibe I get with Final Fantasy 14 is that the majority of players do what's required MSQ wise, and not as many continue on to do trial series stuff.
People I speak to about 14 in general have no idea there's much outside of the MSQ. Like, it's just a story game with an MMO, and I'm like, you're crazy. You could play this game for years and not run out of new stuff to do. And like, no, it's just a story. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, in fact, Alex, Jordan just casted the Race World first for the Ultimate. He's been playing it for 7 or 8 years, kind of hardcore. He's in 3 different statics doing different prog at the same time, and still hadn't done UCOP. And I messaged him about it because they were doing UCOP blind. And I was like, nope, not got around to it yet. Still working on it. Still doing Savage Coils at some point. All this stuff is still just sat there. The treasure maps. I didn't know they existed until late Shadowbringers. And I was like, this is awesome. And like, this is just really, really fun. And it was like, yep, it's just sat there. No one knows it's there. It's great. Super fun. It must get frustrating for the devs. I think the devs are like, why are we making this if like 2% of our audience make it or play it? It's a waste of time, right? So baking it into the MSQ makes sense for something like Trials, I guess. Even though I preferred the odd story.
I miss hard mode dungeons. Like that was such a cool thing that when we were going through for the first time, we played as close to in order as we could have. It added so many dungeons to the game. Just redoing every dungeon with major lore differences and completely new bosses.
Yeah, literally more than double, right?
Yeah, It was wild. Like,
yeah, if you queue for those though, no one ever appears
exactly.
because they just haven't unlocked them or not done them.
Yeah, it's optional content. It's a blue quest. You don't have to go do it. Yeah, that was like our whole thing up to this point was we got accused of stalling, and Cal and I are like, we're just having a good time. We were playing all of this extraneous content as close to an order as we could manage with what little information we had to go off of. Like we did every trial series before we moved on to the next expansion. And so
did you guys do the island?
No,
I did.
Because you have island sanctuaries as well, don't you? Yeah.
I started it and I thought it was fairly boring, so I didn't go back to it.
I left it alone because it unlocked my grinding brain that I'd managed to kill at some point. Like I crept up on that in the night, put a dagger in it years ago, and I found myself sat here grinding slate or stone or something for like 6 hours. I found a route along a riverbank, and I was like, I can't do this again. Time has moved on.
I was so invested in taking over this island and making it my own that I joined a Discord server that its whole point was that every week a guy would go in there and be like, here are the optimal things to sell and make. And I was like, yeah, I was invested.
People ruined it by min-maxing it. I got sent those sweaty spreadsheets. I'm like, I'm done. This is just a rabbit hole.
The hell out of it. I was like, yeah, I got all the mounts. I got all the things. I have pets running around my island. I captured so many animals and I did all of that. I haven't been back to that island since 7.0 started. Those everyone's dead there.
Those animals it is a graveyard. But they haven't really done anything with it to improve it, right? It became a min-max spreadsheet sweat fiesta, which is not what I was hoping for. I was hoping for something fun and silly, but I ended up grinding for like 3 days straight, capped it, did it all, and I was like, this is so pointless. I have achieved nothing. I have done nothing.
I will say the quests are very, very cute. They're all Tataru-based quests, and they are incredibly cute. It's like every character that exists, let's bring them to a vacation on the island and wrap up some like little quest thing from them. So you'll get characters, you're like, these two, what are you doing here? And they're like, well, we're actually best friends now. And you're like, what? Okay. It's very cute. Also, there is a hilarious subplot that all the mammoths that you get on the island over time start to realize that you're just working them. And some of them have conversations where like, one day when we overthrow the master. I'm like, what the hell? It's really funny. It's very well done.
Your Tataru is very different than mine. She was running a drug empire from the island, and I was the patsy who had to be responsible for the island where all these drug deals were taking place.
I mean, yeah, that's the plot. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I see Tataru as such a Pablo Escobar character.
Oh, my God. Mike, are you aware of how much you've just ruined anyone's future interpretation of Tataru for stream viewers?
Yeah, I went
a little bit
opposite just because of yours, just to wind everyone up. She was like full Valley girl.
I did it because I didn't like Tataru and ARR. I was like, I don't get why anybody likes this character, because they were all basing it off, I think Shadowbringers was just coming out when I started, or had been out, and they were like, you don't know, right? Because I hated Thancred, and they're like, you don't know what he's going to go through, Ranji, you don't know, and Midfilia and all this kind of stuff. And for me, he was the sleazeball who's hanging out in Uldar, and I was like, I hate this guy. And then Tataru showed up, and I was like, I really hate her. So I made a mockery of her, but some people got very upset. Like the emails I received of how disgraceful it was that I was treating that character. So it got worse from there.
What did you do to Tataru?
I made her a businesswoman, is what we'll say, who had a penchant for cigars, meat pies, and pints of lager in every bar. Because she kept going to the pub in Heavensward specifically.
She'd get drunk the entire time. Absolutely.
Right? Exactly. So I turned her into this like very 1970s. I put in my mind, she was 1970s, sat in a smoky bar forever. She has 9,000 wrinkles like a pug. She talks like this when she needs something.
Amazing.
And that was my Tataru for the whole thing. And a lot of my audience got it. but the ones that didn't were genuinely like furious.
That's
like it was, which that made it so much better for me because I just doubled down on it. I was like, you guys are, this is a fictional potato person. Get over it.
We almost did the same thing. We almost had the exact same interpretation of Tataru, and it's fine. Yeah, that woman is a drunk.
Yes.
She got problems.
Her shop in Shaolin is a sweatshop. Like every time I approach the store, I'm always ad-libbing lines like, and she'll beat me again. Please take this, because she just whips them and she keeps them working. And then she opened the drug dealer island where she was ferrying mountains of cocaine and meth.
Oh my God.
And then we were the fall guy for it. She's like, I'll give you this island, okay? Some people are going to visit sometimes. Don't ask any questions. You know what I mean? Like, that was my approach to it. Yeah.
Good.
It worked. That's why I took pictures all over FanFest. I was a Tataru cosplayer and I had cigars in every picture. And like some people were getting a little weird about the fact I was walking around FanFest with cigars in my mouth. Not lit, obviously, but they were like,
it's a prop.
Yeah, it was a prop. Like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
I so desperately want to go to FanFest next time they have it dressed as the Lalafell that stalks
Nashu.
Nashu.
Yeah, we call him Bobby Kotick because he
I want to, and I just want to be in the background of photos the entire convention. Just like, where's he at? And I'll be like, "Ew." That's all I want. That's my dream.
Oh, I would absolutely love that. I want to do that photo shoot. I'll just take pictures of random passerbys. I'm like, look at this picture, but I'll have you in the background, like in every shot. Like, I'm not going to Vegas though. Like, I heard the FanFest was horrible. Like,
it was just too hot.
Fest.
It was,
it could fit more than 5 people. So I mean, it's it's.
Why are you putting all those nerds in a desert? That's just terrible.
It was
like
intense.
Nobody wants that. Yeah, London rained, which was great. It was so nice. It was cold. It was cool.
Very surprising.
Yeah, it was fun. That was great.
Because it's normally like 3 to 4 months between patches, right? So it's not going to fall in the dead of summer for the next one, if that tracks.
Oh, it's next year, right? Maybe. Should be. Well, not next year. 2026.
I thought it was next year. It's like 1 year out.
Because the last one happened between patch 7.4 and 7.5, right? So that would put it. If we do, because Kyle actually sat down with a calendar not too long ago, and we just counted out 4 months to just try and get a vague heading, which puts 7.4 first week of December 2025, which would mean a FanFest at least would begin in the winter.
I can see it being October of 2025. And then, because that would be the American one, remember? Because it would be, the US would be October, and then they do something in the beginning of the new year, maybe in Europe, and then they do something right before launch. Because they'll definitely do a summer launch again, or May 2026, for sure.
God, the expansions go so quick now.
Yeah.
It really does. It goes quick. I'm already talking about what's the expansion after Dawn Trail. It's only...
we just got it.
What?
I mean,
yeah,
that's kind of what it all is, though, right? Because they give us the story in a 0.0, everything else is leading to something else, and so the speculation is, where are we going? And so I think it's fair to be like, I'm excited for the future. We already experienced that thing. It's past us. What comes next?
I mean, that's what the patch MSQ is. It's let's tie up what is lingering from 0.0 and let's look forward at what's ahead at the next expansion. Which, by the way, I don't think we're getting to the key. I don't think we're setting off with the key that Yashola.
That's an 8 thing. That's next time.
If we're going back to the traditional patch cycle, I think we wrap up this arc that we're on the 0.3 patch, and then 0.4 and forward we start talking about using the key. And
they're going to keep teasing your Solar about it, because now your Solar's distracted, right? The new Sphenes come up. So they did the whole, we're going to go sort the key out thing. But first of all, I need to go check this thing in living memory. Then we're definitely going to go talk about the key. And she's like, okay. And now they've got the Sphenes show up. She's like, well, we're going to talk about the key for sure, but this thing's happening now. I think they're actually going to do it as a bit of a running gag of just keep having your Solar almost about to tell us about the key. There'll be a throwaway line every patch, and it'll be like, about 2 minutes because I need to go do this over here.
It's gonna be Karen Kenny in South Park, just every episode. Just oh shoot, something else has come up. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
100%. We're finally gonna get to use the key, and Y'shtola will be like, "I'll be right back. I gotta go smooch Runar. You don't get the key right now."
Come on.
Yeah.
Mommy's not going down that road.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the road's already gone down.
He's got that big hairy chest.
Oh yeah.
He likes the nighttime.
You know he gets good.
Runar likes to play.
What is that voice?
That's Runar at nighttime.
That's Runar, apparently.
Justin,
That was Runar at nighttime. Were you not listening?
Yeah.
You talk to him during the day, he's got a completely different voice.
Right, but at night,
dark, baby. Go on, say it again. Matoya.
have any of you seen the movie Hot Frosty?
No.
Oh, is that the brand new Christmas
It's the
movie?
brand new Christmas movie.
To see
Yes.
this film. The premise just.
It's incredible. You will love it, by the way. I'm saying everyone involved, you will love it. It's so goofy. But here's all you need to know about why this relates to this. The main guy, Hot Frosty, the entire time is a big goober. Just like, I don't know. But there's one line, very much like Nighttime Runar, which she's like, out of nowhere. And the entire time, he's like, oh, I'm Frosty. And then one line, he's like, Merry Christmas, Kathy. And it's just like that. Yeah,
Ooh.
I'm real sexy, Kathy. And it's like a close-up of his like face and lips and stuff. And it's like, okay, they were actually trying to go for hot. Same thing with Runar. Nighttime Runar, he gets it on. Nighttime Runar, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Nighttime, though, he's like, what up, mama?
Getting all those chores out of the way so he can play, you know? He's a
I feel like he has a
responsible
phone that
man.
makes a disco ball come down. He presses it and he goes, and he just goes, dun, 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 dun,
Getting
dun,
blessed
dun.
up in here.
No, it's like it's very white Lahi. It's just like Lahi.
Yeah.
Lahi, baby.
He gets on a heart-shaped bed.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, I want to show you my great rockin' serpent. Right? And they do the whole, yeah. And Y'shtola's like, what? It was a dick joke. And she's like, oh, right. Yeah.
Oh, she
right,
could
all
tell.
right,
When
we're
those
gonna point
claps
it-
drop.
Pointing it right now, Runar After Dark, or as we like to call him around here, Runark.
Oh.
Oh, wow. The branding.
Mm.
You have Runark, and then Sexy After Dark Runar, which is Runark.
Gets wild in the forest. That's all I'm saying. Those guys hiding in that forest, they're all on their own out there. Things get weird, right? Think of it like Arkansas. Yeah? Upsetting is what it is. It's upsetting.
Huh.
I hate that all I can hear is like, I'm going to make you say scream, mama. Like, Runar, cut it out. You're creepy.
No, she loves it.
Why'd you have to ruin Scree like that? Why?
Don't worry, baby.
It's just awkward.
It's just me, Runark.
He's in a commune. They share bedrooms. It's
Yeah.
not a good place.
A bunch of
It
dirty
is.
hippies. Just the worst.
Yeah.
Gotta
it is.
clear it out. Leave his tie on the door at night.
Socks on,
What
nostrils
door?
closed, time to party. Yeah, respectfully, of course. She is the leader.
Respectfully.
Well, of course.
respectfully.
Of course.
Respectfully,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
Yeah, they live around the corner from the Bunny Girl Squad. They know what's going on. It's like Porky's. Anyone remember Porky's?
If the
Yeah,
law
yeah,
is
yeah.
a heeing, don't you come a seeing.
They're peering through the bushes.
Yeah.
What's going on over there?
Guys, binoculars.
Yeah, binoculars. Whoa.
Wait, hold on. You're telling me there's just a bunch of bunny girls over there and we're living in a cave, dude? I'd be like, no, I must explore.
It's
Yeah.
covered in candles, and he lit them all.
In
Light
one
the way
go.
home. Damn. Wow, we really solved
Well,
this.
Yeah.
All makes sense now.
Well, this will all tie together to Asians, clearly.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
it's-
Yes.
I can't
As long
think
as
of
you
a
bear
better-
that in mind.
of a better stopping point for this entire conversation because we're not gonna one up this.
Well, it's
So
like
I hope
it's
you-
like the Flowers and Elpis quest. You got to go back in time and teach the ancients why candle lighting is used in that way, so that across all humanity, it can be shared.
Mhm.
Yep.
I trust.
I'm
you,
leaving it
Bruno.
there. I have so many things in my head, but I'm just going to put it.
Me too.
Yeah. I can't say that. Oh, I can't say that.
I can, but it's not going anywhere good. This is a dark
No.
road.
No, let Garrett end it. That's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I'll jump on this extremely sexy grenade. around the table. First off, just thank you all again for coming back. It's my dream that every time there's some new MSQ, we get together and just hash it out. So hope to see you all again for 7-2 when it gets here. In the meantime, we invite you all back. We invited you the first time because we love your content. You're all wonderful content creators in your own right. Around the table, if folks don't already know where to find you, Jordan, let's start with you. Promote your stream, your YouTube channel, everywhere folks can find you.
I'm Okaymage everywhere. I'm finishing up my FF8 playthrough, and then I need to finally finish Hildy next week. So I'm going to be finally doing Hildy next week. I got
when
to
are you finishing FF8?
Oh, FF8.
Fuck Hildy. When are you going to FF8?
This week, I think. So either like Wednesday, I think. Wednesday I'm going to be playing FF8. I don't know how far from the end I am though. So that's why
the best part.
Yes, I'm like, I think it sounds like I'm near the end, but like every time this happens, 4 days go by, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm Okaymage everywhere, so that's where you can find me.
Stream this morning was absolutely fantastic, as it always is. Go check out Okaymage's work everywhere Okaymage can be found. Mike, also known as Preach on the internet, where can folks find you?
Typically on Twitch, Preach LFW, and from Friday, I'll be driving across Europe to save a dog. So you should check that out. Yeah.
What?
For sure are you?
Yes, I'm going to be driving across Europe to save a dog.
Okay.
It's going to be a fun stream, apparently.
Does the dog want to be saved, or is this...
Wait, why are we...
I don't want to get into it, but
I don't want to talk about a depressed dog.
I may have hurt the dog. So it's a redemption story.
Oh, okay.
I killed a dog. It wasn't intentional.
In game?
Yes, obviously.
Okay.
What the hell?
In Minecraft. Okay.
It's not like a ritual. No, in Baldur's Gate 3, I killed Scratch, but
you know, PETA's mad about like rats.
Oh, they're always mad,
right? Like they're going to be coming after you.
It's digital pause. Digital pause. But I'm going to be doing it in a real quote unquote truck thing. It's going to be fun.
Nobody get this man a copy of Nintendogs.
I've had Nintendogs in the past.
How did they all die? I've never seen that before.
I mean, your island is what, a bone graveyard now?
I'm not there, so technically they're still alive.
Oh yeah, they're currently using it to film the next Mad Max, Jesse. Like that place is not looking good.
My Digimon was always a poop monster. I'm not going there.
Jesse Cox, when you're not murdering everybody on your island sanctuary, where can folks find you?
I made it so easy since I do so many things. Some might say too much. It's all over on jessecox.com. Follow what you want to follow and don't what you don't. It's all there, baby.
Wonderful. You can find everything that Kyle and I do together right here on the Grinding Gear YouTube channel. This is where we stream. This is where we post videos. This is where we podcast. We have some wonderful content coming up towards the end of the year. This Thursday, we'll be watching the Game Awards. We'll be co-streaming that live, suited up and enjoying some lovely cocktails. And next Thursday will be our annual end of year charity stream. We're doing our extra life stream. We do it when we want. Damn it, we do it at the end of the year. And make sure you tune in for it. Kyle, can I announce everything?
Go for it. Stream? Yeah, go for it.
Cool. All morning, like from like 11 a.m. until we get starving, we're gonna try co-oping Elden Ring for the first time ever. We're going in on fresh characters, and the goal is to beat Margit before dinner. So,
easy mode.
Have you played before?
A little bit. I'm terrible. Kyle's you'll be decent. Kyle's decent.
You'll be fine.
Big character.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a nice. Make sure you kill the guy in the first zone on the horse because he drops him out. You want that guy?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then after we come back from dinner, we're going to finally try and beat the damn rat in the Criterion dungeon, and then we're going to cap everything off with Extreme Endsinger, blind, min-eye level. We've never done it before. Kyle, do you have a thumbnail?
Do I have a thumbnail? Do I have a thumbnail?
Oh, you do. Sorry, I thought you had the...
Oh, do you want me to get thumbnails? I mean, I have a button. Do you want me the despair one? Do you want the... Is that what you want on screen?
I'll simply say...
Is that what you want on screen? I've got it right here.
Yeah, sure. Sure, just throw
right
it
there.
Throw it on there. Yeah.
Woo!
So we're going to be joined by Shenpai and Joe Cat, who will be joining us as we go in to defeat despair for children. So this is all going down all day next Thursday. Join us for that. It's going to be a good time. and then there's more stuff to announce after that, but we'll get to it. So follow us on here. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Huge shout out, Kyle, if you have the graphic ready, to our patrons supporting us over at supportourbromance.com. Thank you so much, everybody, for your support. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of yet another Grinding Gear Final Fantasy XIV Roundtable. Hope you all enjoyed. See you next time.
It was just so
Kind of
smooth.
got
I
a bit
can't say
Runar
anything.
at the end
Yeah,
there, didn't
yeah.
you? Did he get very Runar at the
You
end?
got real Runar in there.
Into the night.
Stola.
You have yourself a blessed night, is what you're doing.
Yo.
Why did you bless on this hairy chest? Bless all over it.
God almighty.
Runar's a rough boy. He's a hairy chest.
No.
My boy.
Oh, my boy. He was so sweet. No.
I'm going home. I'm going to go see my kids.
Oh my
Thank you for
word.
joining us.
Goodbye, y'all.
Thanks for
Good night,
having-
y'all.
Good night. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.
See you again.
Bye-bye.
I shall repair
start-
this. Please hold.
I started cold. Now I'm very hot.
Oh yeah, it got hot in here too. But the once Runar,
all that
Runar,
Runar discussion.
once that
Sharing-
got going, you
as
know,
usual, sharing the same brain cell.
you know that it was good. Oh, there's like 5 Garretts in here. Hang on, I can do
There's
this.
so many Garretts. There's so many.
We're gonna make this primary Garrett.
Garrett Prime coming in strong. If you haven't already, everybody, like the stream. I see many more viewers than likes. So if you enjoyed that or any
Enjoyed this
part of
kind
that,
thing.
if you love Dynamo, like the stream.
if you hate Nanamo,
like the stream. We had Nanamo haters and Nanamo lovers,
yeah.
both represented today.
Oh yeah, you know. See that self-control. All right, we are mostly half. I'll be adjusting this slightly as I notice.
Adjust
There we go.
me slightly.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Yeah. Thanks for the support today, folks. I see some supers we're catching up on. Winkle abiding with the King Baby more than meets the eye. King Baby. Would that be? Hey Kyle, if we're doing King Baby to the tune of Transformers, does that mean his catchphrase is "rule out"?
Oh, that's rough. That's rough.
I'm proud. Wing Zero, thanks for the super during all of this nonsense. Final boss took a wrong turn from Albuquerque. That's, it happens.
Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny has never been more murderous than he was in the final boss form.
I gotta check Okaymage's stream and see how she fared
Yawahati
against the
Station.
bunny.
I watched the whole dungeon. It's great. There's a point where she's looking at one of the logs and walking backwards, and she aggroes the next pack, and she just screams. Like, it's wonderful. It's
Fabulous.
absolutely wonderful. I had that on while I was having my morning coffee, and my somewhat fun adult cereal.
Oh, she did that whole thing this morning. The whole thing.
She also
Wow.
had one, dude. Yeah,
That's a big day.
Like, got it in under the wire.
Well done.
Oh. I hope the Roundtable didn't take any of the fun out of it for her. Like, oh no, I gotta go faster. So, Claveman supered back from being an adult. Gonna watch from the beginning. I hope you caught up, Claveman, and I hope we sounded nice and chipmunky.
Hope you
at
enjoyed.
1.5 speed or however fast you watched it. Hello, back at you, Frozen Studios. Ben is celebrating 20 months by saying, if this alliance raid is like Omega, then I guess Surreal Ja fits Nero's narrative role of mischievous goober who people are happy to see and be around.
I think so.
Yeah. He doesn't have a buddy to play off of, though, like Sid.
I mean, he's got his...
Gulool Ja Ja is not
Yeah,
Sid.
he's got his Gulool Ja
No, that is
illusion
not.
that he could talk to.
That is not a Sid-like.
I could totally see him being the type that makes like 1,000 hymns. And so they could all, divvy up the jobs.
Hymns?
Yeah, like the classic the 1,000 hymns, he makes 4 of himself so he can divide up the jobs.
Oh, I feel you. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Dayka, thanks for the super. So talking about how fast expansions go, Endwalker is 3 years old this month. Take your meds, my fellow millennials.
3 years ago.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's the meme about the Alliance raid. If you understand these references, it's time to take your back pain medication.
I understood them in a Jason kind of way. I got the idea of them.
Sure, Grandma. Let's get you home. Let's get you home. Surreal Ja Anderson. Who's him from Powerpuff? No, I know the character. Who are we likening this to?
Oh, with the little crab hands.
Oh, yeah, I know the character.
Yeah.
Are we saying that Surreal Ja is like him from Powerpuff Girls?
Oh, gotcha. You know, I just the other day figured out that the dad from Powerpuff Girls is the war comes to Genova kind of, Star Wars guy.
Oh, shit.
And you can totally hear it because he goes, now, girls.
You're right. I never put that together.
No?
I used to watch the shit out of the Powerpuff Girls. That was a daily part of, it was a regular part of my day. I was about to say a daily part of my day, which was a bad sentence. Yeah. Karu said Runar After Dark is Runar's podcast.
He needs one, It's supposed
to be like an advice call-in show.
No, it's a post-apocalyptic radio, where he goes, he's keeping the hope alive for everyone out in the world.
That's like the whole concept of the final MCR album.
Oh, that's neat that they
there's like
added that
interstitials
theme.
that's like a DJ doing a post-apocalyptic like pirate radio station. Yeah. And Pothy P super, does Preach always kill Mr. Biggles? Oh God, no. Well, that's a cat, not a dog. But I see what you're getting at. Pothy.
I wanted to know if he even tried in Skyrim. That dog's really hard to keep alive. Oh my God, that one was super
I'm not
difficult.
sure I ever got a dog in Skyrim.
Yeah, he's super cute too. He's one of those, I think it's a wolfhound, like with the little mustache, kind of long and sleek and gray.
Skyrim dog.
Super adorable.
He
but
Googles
oh my God,
live.
he dies to everything. He's overeager.
Yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. Huh. Those are cool dogs in real life.
Whereas I think the Fallout 4 dog is invincible. I think it just, maybe takes a knee here and there.
Oh, dog meat?
Yeah.
Yeah, dog meat is dog meat's very, very hard to knock off. Takes notes for streamer AU. Okay, all right, Stars Norris, you do that. Keep it up. So we got a good week going this week. We're trying hunts tomorrow for the first time.
Yep, gonna give it a shot anyway. See if one is active. If not official, then we'll see if we can get one going. But we're gonna unlock the hunt quests because we got to go do a thing, and probably you said like you had like a living memory quest maybe to wrap up or something like that.
I do. I never did any. The only place I haven't unlocked flying is living memory because I kind of just keep forgetting. I got all the ether currents. I haven't done the blue quests that are required, so should probably do that. Maybe we'll go right now after we're done.
Sounds like the right thing to do.
Complete that. Yeah. And if you need to fly around anywhere to speed that up, I can fly around. And then Wednesday, we have Patron's Choice, which is looking very much like it's going to be Stray, but you can still go vote. You can still go vote. If you support us on Patreon at the voting level, go and vote for what you want us to play on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we'll be co-streaming the Game Awards. And then we just announced our charity stream next Thursday. We'll be streaming all damn day. I forgot I made this. Yes. The least biased Game Awards stream you will see that night.
Absolutely.
But yes, join us next Thursday. Do you have the Elden Ring thumbnail I made?
Oh, I do. Yeah, we didn't show that one. That's a good one.
I really like this thumbnail.
That's really good. It's a solid thumbnail.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be the morning stream, and then Final Fantasy XIV will be the evening stream because we'll be taking a short break for dinner that day during all of our charity streamage. It's going to be a good time. I think Chrono Trigger is like always an option, Kaliehu.
Not because we're just gonna do it someday. Like that's like we're just gonna, I think it's like 25 hours. Or like that's just like a sit down and do it week game that we're gonna do at some point. So we don't really vote on that kind of thing. That's just going to happen at some day. You're going to turn around and Chrono Trigger is going to be on all week.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. I'm gonna scoop myself. So last year we just took 2 weeks off. We did our charity stream, and pew, Kyle moved. Kyle's still gonna take some time to go be with the family, be a Christmas and New Year's dad.
Big dad energy.
But I'm a degenerate dink who has no one depends on me except chihuahuas and a cat, and they don't take too much time. So I'm currently planning to start and finish Metaphor Refantasio while Kyle is away. I've got 2 weeks.
Sounds
and
fun.
At least 3 people have told me that LMAO, that's not enough time, which means I want to do it even more because you're wrong. So
it's a big game. Yeah.
But
I'm excited to see have at it.
The grinding gear epilogue for 2024 will be me steamrolling my way through Metaphor.
Doing a little Christmas Metaphor in.
From December 23rd to January 3rd.
Yeah.
With days off for Christmas, days off for New Year's, obviously.
I would enjoy tuning into that. Yeah, we didn't, naturally, moving into third kid, we didn't have much of a holiday last year, so I'm gonna be putting up the old computer for a bit. I'll be dadding. No, we're gonna go visit the great grandparents, and we're gonna go. We're basically going around Florida, but all the family's here, so we're doing a big tour of family, and painting Warhammer minis is basically our plan. Kristen's gotten really into Chaos Marines, so she's got herself.
They are objectively the most fun thing to paint.
Well, and there's like these cultists that look like Sauron, and then there's the mouth of Sauron, and they just look like a bunch of Saurons wanting to stab things. So it's delightful, and that's going to be our little holiday treat to ourselves.
A bunch of Saurons wanting to stab things. That'll be the name. If I ever have a band again, that'll be the name of the band. Chat's asking where to go to vote. If you are a patron of a certain level, you go, oh, wait, that's not a direct. How do I direct link this sucker?
There's a little share button below on the.
Oh, wait, hold on. Here we go.
Itself.
Here it is. Here is a direct link to the poll for Wednesday's stream. Voting is still active. You can still go vote. Stray is currently in the lead with 14 votes. Game I have always wanted to play. Maybe not. Oh, shit. Path of Exile is 1 vote away.
Jeez.
Woo!
And
Indiana Jones is catching up.
Yeah. You prompted people to vote. This is closing in 1 hour, so you got to get over there and vote.
You have time. Oh, it is? Oh, okay.
Well, we got to plan it and all that. But I
just got
to go get flight. I gotta go work on my flying because I've got many a zone to work on. So that's what I'm off to do.
Listen to the Top Gun soundtrack while you do it.
Okay. What? See you soon, everybody. Thanks for watching.